I love that new opening, Sarah. Was that our favorite catstronaut? Camilla, the
Uh,
cartoon cat?
yes. I'm trying to
Huh.
make money off of that thing. Yes.
I cannot get enough of that cartoon cat.
Mhm.
I don't think I'm in the minority there. I was watching Sunday Night Football a few weeks ago, and Mike Tirico was read. It's always funny when these guys have to read promos for things they would never watch. And there's something called Puss in Boots,
Yes.
and he goes, and I think you should tune in to everyone's favorite cat. And I'm thinking that's Camilla, the catstronaut.
They ripped you off.
He
You
said
say that
everyone's favorite.
constantly.
I do say that everyone's favorite cat.
Yeah.
She looks so good in that astronaut's get up. The astronaut's wife.
I gotta
How about
turn
the
that
astronaut's cat with Camilla?
I gotta turn that electricity sound off or lower it significantly, I think, 'cause it blew my ears out.
Um, by the way, speaking of electricity, then you had the black lightning opening to follow it. So you just see zzz, eat some lightning bolts, chomp. Zzz, get off my case, chomp. Zzz.
I don't
That's
know what you're
Sinbad.
talking about.
That's Sinbad
Oh.
as Black Lightning in an old Saturday Night Live sketch from the early '90s, and they did Death of Superman. And
Okay.
he wasn't allowed in the funeral because he was black.
You are the only person that has mentioned Sinbad today, other than his immediate family and counting up the remaining residuals from a different world, and that's it.
One of the
Um,
earliest Stern shows I ever listened to, I remember Jackie wrote a song for Howard to sing about Branford Marsalis, and it went, Branford Marsalis is the nicest brother. He's nicer than Sinbad. He's nicer than my mother. That was the song. Jackie wrote that. I
oh
don't know. I never
god.
forgot that.
It's
Remember
gonna be
Branford
a day.
Marsalis
Just
used to be
kidding.
on the show?
I probably didn't listen. I probably those are the days I skipped.
Who am I, Wynton Marsalis over here?
Yeah.
Right?
I want to thank before we get going here. I want to thank A. Smith. He has donated prior to the show as he always does, and thank you, sir, for everything you do. I will be in touch with you very soon about that Patreon dealy bob we talked about.
The mentiest of mentions, that A. Smith. I was thinking about A.
Of
Smith
course.
last night because I was thinking about the Depp compound at Sweetser. And next time we have him on in some capacity, I'd like him to do this once in a while. Just to riff on some of the contemporary stuff. Isn't He's not solely a Jump Street one trick pony, by the way.
Mhm.
And I wanted to ask him about the the drug the what's the drug enforcement ND uh
DEA.
The DEA.
What's the
How
drug enforcement
Yeah,
agency?
the DEA. How come
DEA.
what is the process? What is stopping them from I've posed this before, from staking out Depp's compound and waiting for his assistant to leave and just trailing him to where he's going?
Yeah.
Isn't that their job? Isn't
They
that
have other
the
things to do.
I don't know about that. I think it takes you right to Pablo Escobar Jr., whatever he's doing. Listening to that trial, it is just like bags of cocaine being shot out of a shirt cannon, right? Just in that. So yeah, I have to think my first job to find the source would be that, right? Isn't that? I mean,
Mm,
it's a Jump Street episode.
mhm. Correct, sir.
So I'm wondering if A. Smith can give us an insight on how that goes down with following leads. I think he knows the whole landscape.
Oh my god.
Hooper writes, being armed, he didn't sleep last night because he was busy chatting it up with G. Canuck.
Uh-huh.
The deppening over under on eight. This is ironic too from Hooper, who is like a huge baseball fan. Is there any sport that's willing to waste your time more than baseball? Is there
Um,
is there any sport that is willing? Time doesn't exist. You just four
football is
hours.
rivaling
Hey,
that.
let's adjust my let's kick dirt in the batter's box for 4 hours. It's 6
Well,
hours for a
foot
Diamondback Padre game.
football is rivaling that with phantom holding calls that they need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
call whenever their Vegas odds are not working in the ref's favor. But anyway,
You've heard of me. You've heard of me. My holding rants. How it's the worst call in all of pros. How you could fix an NFL game just off holding calls because the coaches don't know what happened. No one really knows. It's this weird thing in the middle of the line. Did he grab my shirt? So you're not going to get any shit for it until way later. And it doesn't affect the play. You can call holding on every call. It
mhm.
destroys. momentum of anything exciting that happens. They really need to have full reviews over holding and have a whole committee going. Is that worth calling? I'm bringing it back. I mean, or just let it go, or just let them both hold. Let defense and offense hold and see what happens. Who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm.
Just let it go all the time. Don't call it ever. How about that? How about that? Yeah,
Yeah.
am I
Do
am
me
I
a
cutting?
favor. Yep.
This always happens.
Yes.
Right? It always happens.
Mm-hmm. It's always at the beginning.
How about now? How you cut out of
I don't
me?
know. Say something.
Josh Foster,
Okay, you're much better.
who's also Bagel Oasis. I don't want to out him on Radio Gunk.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites. I think. Who am I, Ed Hockley over here? that's the referee with the Ivan Putski biceps. I don't know if you've seen him, Sarah. I think his son refs too. Are you with me,
No,
Sarah? I can't tell. You keep cutting out.
I'm here.
Are you
Hold on.
eating?
Hold on. No, I'm not eating.
Okay.
I'm leaving, but you got to bring me back in. Okay. You hear me?
You sound good. Yeah.
Okay. There's a little bit of a delay, but I think it's my issue. Okay.
You
Let's
know
go.
why? Because you are getting too thin.
That's not the case, but I appreciate the
Yes, that is the case.
compliment.
Yes, it is the
No.
Um, there's Crazy Robin, our Nubian princess. Welcome, Crazy Robin. My far both an arm and Sarah on the best podcast. Thank you, Crazy Robin.
Thank you.
I love the way Sarah protects arm. Do you protect arm?
That's my job. Yes, more than you know, buddy. But that's my
imagine,
job.
imagine having Crazy Robin protect you though. She goes over to Larry David's house and threatens what's Jeff's wife's name again? Oh God, she's a comedian.
I
Oh
don't know.
God damn it, Susie Essman. Susie
Okay.
Essman. Yeah, she goes all Vivica Fox on Susie Essman.
I want to know
Welcome,
what
Texaho,
television you watched as a child and a young adult. You got all these names I've never even heard of in my life.
I don't think Curb Your Enthusiasm is that
Oh, I
obscure. You should
see.
be
I never
watching that.
watched it. I never
You
watched
should be
it.
watching that. You have no if you don't if you're not a comedy fan if you don't watch that.
Anything associated even loosely with Jerry Seinfeld, I avoid.
Yeah, but it shows you who the real genius of Seinfeld is when you watch Curb.
That's very true.
It
That
shows you
overrated
it's actually
plot.
gone longer. I might go as far to say it's better than Seinfeld. What do you think about that?
The
What do you think
one
about
scene
that?
that I have watched where that little girl is singing at the party is better than any
I
Seinfeld
told
episode
you,
I have
right? Is
watched.
that not the
I did
greatest
laugh
scene?
when I watched that clip.
You're just too good to be true. Can't what Sarah's talking about is on Curb. They have a engagement part. No, what is it? I'm sorry. It's an anniversary party for Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen. And so the Green's daughter there highly overrate her talent. She has mediocre talent. It's not the worst thing, but it's not something you would show. So during this party, they wheel out the daughter to sing for Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen, and she's like at a 10, she's like a 4. She's not the worst, but it's not something you would. And they get everybody's attention, and they clank on the glasses and everything, and they give her this big introduction, and she comes out a cappella and goes, "You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off." And she's like, "What is she, Sarah? 13,
I
singing
don't
the
know,
song?"
but she's old enough to know better. Sit down, sweetie.
So everyone's being polite and clapping. Wow, that's great. And then Larry can't take it, so he gives her the hook in the middle of the thing, and they just go nuts.
I'm always weirded out whenever somebody pulls out a guitar to sing. There's a 90210 episode that's coming up very soon for me where Emily Valentine, iconic character in 90210, the early seasons. Emily Valentine, they're all at the Walsh house. She pulls out a guitar, and everybody's like, "Yes, let's sing a song." And
Yeah,
Brenda
yeah.
goes, "Oh, yay, a hootenanny."
That's your line, right?
That's exactly how I
Yay.
feel. Brenda is my queen in that episode.
While
Okay.
we're on this, Sarah, can you promote the Patreon again?
Uh, I noticed that when we're both on, oh no, it's when chat's up, I lose my title under my name.
Oh no.
So take chat off for a second.
Okay. Texaho says Seinfeld is ugly and lame, annoying.
Well,
Agreed,
yeah.
Texaho. The one time I like him, and Hooper probably knows this better than anybody. I've seen him do commentary on Mets games. They'll sometimes, like 3 times a year, they just wheel him out and he'll sit in the booth. And it's honestly like the best thing he's ever done. He's just riffing on the Mets. I honestly think it's like the tailor made for him. It's like a PG audience and it's just milk toasty, but he actually punched up a Met game. That's believe that or not. Go ahead, Sarah. I'm sorry.
Please, everybody, go over to patreon.com/wino forever. We are doing 21 Jump Street rewatches. We are doing Depp movie watches. And we are doing Beverly Hills 90210 watches, all with original music. None of that music garbage. I have a very special guest joining me for the next episode. And by the way, thank you, David, for the donation also that I see there. We are going to be covering the mother-daughter fashion show and also the episode where a middle-aged Cindy Walsh contemplates cheating on hairball Jim Walsh.
Hairball, huh?
It is some of the worst acting from Carol Potter that you will ever see. Join us over there this weekend. Are we on a hiatus from Jump Street? It seems because we haven't done it in 2 weeks.
It's not it's an unplanned hiatus
I know.
because
I need to get to it because it's probably one of the best episodes of Jump Street that we need to cover
what
next.
is the next one actually? What is the next one?
Seabach.
Oh God, it's Besieged. That's
Yes.
right. I heard that was shot out of order. That Besieged
Yeah, I don't
actually
know.
is the season opener as it should be, and the
Yeah,
other
it
one was
should be.
flipped. Oh, that's right.
You would know.
God, that might be an A. Smith sit in because it's all
Okay.
dealing and
But we are
uh,
recording a very special watch along to a Depp movie this weekend. I will try to have that up Sunday as I do the usual Jump Street episodes. Anyway, $2, all you can eat, access to all the archives. If you haven't joined us over there,
all you can
I
eat.
think most of our episodes are over there right now.
Yeah, I'm just proud of something I put up the other day. That's like, just not even Depp related, but I'm giving stern red meat to all our great people. Is I put Richie Wilson's wedding saga together in
Mhm.
video form, which has never been done in any level. And I kind of chopped up the exact repartee from the wrap-up show in video form, combined it 2 months, and it's like 2.5 hours. It's really good. Richie Wilson just eviscerates Gary in the beginning, calling him arrogant, and you
Well,
just don't.
he
It's just
tells the
great.
truth.
It's just, and they talk about how, and very little is good in the last 10 years, but this is. And they talk about like who hates who, and who's invited to the wedding, and we love Richie Wilson, and he's such a Radio Gunk family member and adjacent, and he said that he says he hates Benji and Elisa to their faces on the wrap up show, and it's just it's very underrated. I think everybody who's a Stern fan should see this in video form.
Do you know the weird thing about Elisa? And I don't give a crap about Elisa Jordana. I've never cared about that whole storyline. She's like basically an cult leader now with that stupid show she does.
Yeah,
Sorry, it
it
might be
does.
great if you're a fan. I don't know.
If
But
you have crazy eyes, you're pretty much going to go be in a cult at some point.
yeah, but I mean, like she's taking. I'm not going to say anything.
Right, Howard has crazy eyes, right? That's literally his nickname from Howard TV.
Hmm. She's allegedly like sending her soldiers, her cult soldiers, to dox people. Um, Meaning sending the police, not dox. What's that thing where
Oh,
you
I get
send the
so confused
police?
by these
I
internet terms.
know.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
I'm
it.
too old. I'm too old for this garbage.
Is that it, Docs?
No, it's
No,
not dox. Oh my god, I'm so dumb at the
gaslight.
moment.
What is?
Whatever. You
Yeah,
send the police to somebody's house and say that there's a murder happening, so the police pound on the door. SWATs come out. Oh my god. But that's how people fight.
it's called swatting. Josh
Swatting. Thank
Fosterson.
you. Thank you.
Thanks,
My
Josh.
god. It's been a long day.
Thanks, Bagel Oasis, and that is a great. Josh, I make my own bagels, right? I'm very
Yes, we
proud of that
know.
now. For the last um God, about 2 months ago I started, and it really is. You get better each time you do it, and I really recommend. It's actually pretty tedious. I can't recommend it though to everybody. Well, thank
Yeah.
you, Sue Monster. Thank you for all that you do and all your kind words all the time in the comments in the
Yes,
chat.
absolutely.
And speaking of comments and speaking of guest stars, here's Bon Jovial,
But also Hooper, thank you. I just saw your donation come up.
and I want to thank him for just an unbelievable homage to you, Sarah, and your rant about our favorite
I haven't even listened to it.
Holly
I'm
Poppinson.
afraid.
I told you it's good. and nothing but compliments, and your fans went crazy in the chat and
As soon as
everything.
I finished it, why did I do that? Just keep your mouth shut.
What? No, why? Why would you hold back?
Because
I mean,
I get mad when people say bad. I don't want to say insult because it wasn't insulting, but when they don't want to get it.
right.
Therefore, in my opinion, they're insulting what we do and what we're putting out that we've been honest about since minute one of even thinking this thing up to do. You know what I mean? And that's part of me protecting you. I get mad because you put so much energy and effort into this show,
Yeah.
not even counting what you do on Radio Gong. You should make 10 times what you make every episode of this show.
I'm trying to remain an underdog. I don't want to be the lowest paid podcast. I want to be, I don't want to. Thank you, David, once again. Arm Advil Action Initiative. Jesus Christ, AAAI. Welcome, Ben 4810. I've never watched an episode of Seinfeld, and I never will. But I love. That's interesting. He's never even seen Seinfeld, but he loves
Me
Curb. That's
too.
great.
I don't care.
I really recommend Curb to anybody who's looking for something to truly laugh at. And I don't use the word funny too often, unless I really, really mean it, because there is so much on and there's so little time in this life. I would never waste your time unless I thought it was. And speaking of not wasting anyone's time, here's Bon Jovial, who I was reading the Ellen Barkin article today about Animal Kingdom, the movie that originated in Australia that spawned Ellen Barkin's TV series Animal Kingdom, which I loved. Loved.
I
Bon
just
Jovi,
haven't
welcome,
even
sir,
attempted
and
it yet.
thank you for Wednesday night.
Bonjour. Est-ce que tu as un Jacques Mackay, s'il vous plaît?
Hello, everybody.
I totally stepped all over that.
Do your 90210 translator for that, Sarah.
I want to talk to my father, Jack.
And who is that speaking?
That would be the great Dylan McKay.
Luke Perry talking about what was the dad's name in real life again from the Hogan family?
Josh
Taylor.
Why did you know that and I didn't?
Because it just popped in my. You know how the credits will pop in your head. He's on
Mm-hmm.
remember the Hogan family? He was on that before.
I loved that show. That was
played like a stud race Bannon stud. Played like a race Bannon stud pilot over there. Who am I? Mike Pence?
Yeah.
Over here?
Everybody was a stunt pilot in the 80s.
Yeah, stud pilot.
Oh, stud, but stunt pilot too.
Stunt pilot's good too. Hal Jordan's
Fall Guy.
Yes, Colt Seavers. Yes. Sarah is a tried and true woman, says Crazy Robin, and she truly cares for him. And you hate men. Like nobody hates men more than Ellen Barkin. You talk about hating men. Oh my God!
I think she uses them for what she needs, and then she moves along.
Could be.
I think she's the older version of her idol Amber Heard.
Welcome, PC PBO 23. She hated Emily Valentine. What do you think about that?
I did too.
To bring it back to Depp, you will see the Christine Elise featured in season 4 of 21 Jump Street episode called Out of Control, and she plays Quincy Thompson, and she plays just a rich brat who just does stunts for kicks with her rich friends, and they rob houses for no reason. And she's actually the same age as Depp on that episode, and in real life, and she's playing a high school student.
And she looks great in real life currently.
No, she looks great for her age. Make no mistake, she looks great for her age. She's actually 5 years younger than Priestley is.
I think she looks better now than she did. Or anyway, when I saw the 2 seconds of her on the remake a couple of years ago.
Okay. Carol Potter, Texaho says she has needs. Isn't
that episode is gross. I can't do this. Okay.
Bon Jovi, do you remember that? Mrs. Walsh said she has needs.
No, but it sounds great.
Okay, yeah. Tell her the plot, Sarah.
Back in the day, Cindy had a brief, probably completely dry love affair with like a photographer. It's been years since I've seen this episode, but he comes back into their lives and he awakens the free spirit in her, unlike Jim could ever do. So she is contemplating throughout the episode, should I kiss him? Blah, blah, blah. It's so stupid.
Hairball. You call him? See, if this is Curb Your Enthusiasm, they would indeed call him Hairball. Mm-hmm. James Eckhouse. That's so funny. You're doing a great job.
You have to appreciate what his hormone levels to grow that amount of hair.
Yeah, true. That's a lot of testosterone to do that. Hooper, thank you, sir. Pitchers and catchers reported this week won't be long before America's favorite pastimes. I actually would consider I would consider doing a fantasy league if stolen bases come back.
Oh,
Um,
have fun.
it's just so it's the only way I can truly get into it if I'm in a fantasy league. I can't engage any other way. Sue Monster does laps, by the way. Thank you, Zepp. Any Stern video on Patreon? I'm so in. Welcome, sir.
Yes, answer his question.
Sir. I'm gonna SWAT. Kylo Sierra Alpha, welcome. Going through here again. Swatting, Zepp. Yes, swatting. Thank you, Zepp. Lisa's deep gonzo stuff now. They're uncomfortable weirdos.
Mm-hmm.
Very forced weirdos. Very, 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 very forced.
Yeah, but you got like the weird incels in the audience that are just attracted to her, and they will do anything for her. It's almost frightening from the snippets that I've watched.
David says Howard's eyes are indeed crazy. The shots of him on the E show where it just looks like cat clocks. Yeah, I mean, they don't call him crazy eyes for nothing, David. And that's from the guys on Howard TVs. That's why the sunglasses are on. He has the darting, neurotic eyes that everybody's out to get him, the professional victim. Pop, 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 pop. And you've
Eyes
seen
of a
that.
shyster.
Yes, eyes of a huckster shyster. She does these weird IP3 streaming with Durant. Yeah, that's very culty.
That whole IP 2-3 whatever it is, it's weird. It's so weird. You know what that is, Arm?
It's Kermit and Friends or something.
Yeah, but you know what IP whatever is?
No, I don't.
That's it's the people that just stream their lives 24/7.
Oh, okay. So it's like a reality. It's like that Ron Howard movie with Jim
They put
Carrey.
up a webcam in their house,
right?
And it's on 24/7, and the super chats just, or whatever they call it, just come flying in. But
It's
they're
pretty
just
intense.
They're
you
such
want to
weird.
live your life like that. Yeah, it's
They're
pretty
so weird.
Well, you're a greedy attention whore. The two go together pretty well.
Anybody knows Baked Alaska? For the history of Baked Alaska, not the dessert, but the insurrectionist, alleged. I think he was convicted, but so
you are not. You are not convicted.
I think he's one of them, but that's the type of thing it is.
Okay. So yeah, it sounds culty and weird and
it's
crazy.
More weird than culty.
Thanks again, Sue Monster. Hoops is the man. I love that Arm cooks homemade and eats from Costco. I do both. What's the next thing I'm gonna do? What's the next endeavor? There's I don't know. I had an idea that something rib wise. I think I was gonna make my own ribwich with actual spare ribs. St. Louis spare ribs.
You need to film cooking and put it on Patreon.
Film it, dude.
That's not bad. The pizza thing might be okay, or even bagels.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, speaking of any racists out there, I'm half Ginzo. I call myself a Polak too. Did you ever hear the slur for Jewish Italians called pizza bagel?
Yes, because I watched New Jersey Housewives.
Yeah, I just heard that for the first time. I don't know why am I first hearing this. Like I'm at ground zero for both.
Are you going to admit that you watch New Jersey Housewives and you tell me who you like the best and who you don't like?
I will admit that you showed me Cliff Robinson on the episode, and that's what I looked at. He who passed away a year ago, which is crazy. Like 2 weeks after you showed me that, he passed away. J.R. Young, Brian Phelan, and Elisa called Jordan. Oh wow, I didn't know that. J.R. Brian Phelan. It was after the Stern party where they were behaving like. Yeah, I think it's around the same time, J.I. I think it's around the same time. I'm gonna have to poke through that more. Kaula, welcome, sir. It's 4:15 here. Just woke up to say I love you. I just called. We love you too, Cow.
Thank you.
How am I saying this? Cowlay?
I think it's Cowlaw, but I could be wrong.
Okay. I think Cowlaw gave us a nice compliment in the in one of the comments about keeping it real. I think.
Well, you copped it the other week from that Holly Pop girl.
Oh, different one. It's a different one. Yeah. See, that she deleted it. Holly Pop.
I thought you did. Okay, great.
No, I didn't delete it.
Yeah.
No. I'm keeping that fucker up. You fucking deftly screenshotted it.
Yeah, I got it 3 days after it came out. And I'll just cue it up. Because Sarah says she hasn't heard it. This was just my recounting the rant.
Oh no!
When you guys, not the rant, the post there that she made, and when you guys addressed it, here we go.
For an episode that features something positive.
Yeah, Bon, thank you, because I was going to actually ask you this and I forgot because Sarah almost knowingly missed it. So she needs to see this. So this is are you playing the whole thing, Bon? Or are you just
No,
showing
this is just that message.
Sarah's
I'm not
rant?
going to play the whole other stuff because it'd
Oh
be
no,
way
okay.
too long.
Who am I? Renee Goulet over here.
Are there any plans for an episode that features something positive about Depp? Your channel is described as an extensive and objectively opinionated look at the life and career of John Christopher Depp. However, every episode consists of you insulting, degrading, shaming, bagging, and slurring every aspect of his life. I appreciate objectivity, but in particular, doesn't appear to have any when discussing Depp. I don't know what motivates such hostility and hatred towards Depp, but it seeps into every single topic of conversation relating to him. No exaggeration. When Depp is discussed, it becomes an opportunity to disparage him. The negativity is so pervasive that an impartial or even remotely positive episode would be a welcome change at this point. Your channel's content is your prerogative, but mischaracterizing it as objective when it is anything but is dishonest. If you want to keep dragging Depp in episode after episode, be honest about what you're doing. If you are such a fan of Deeps, surely there is something positive you can discuss. If not, then perhaps you are not the fan you think you are, regardless of having seen the astronaut's wife 8 times.
What a crazy person that Holly Pop, and she deleted it. Wow.
I don't see it, so.
I don't. She intimidated by Liz Cheney's rant. Do you think, Bon?
No.
And she goes, I gotta get. It's not. I didn't get the groundswell of Deptford Wives having my back that I thought I was gonna have. Cause you know why? And this isn't me bragging. Because she knows I have all my receipts and I'll eviscerate. I mean, you can't get. I just know too much. You can't get me on anything.
Oh, it was incredible. I'd play it, but it's 5.5 minutes long.
You can play Sarah's. You can play. That's shorter, right? Do you have it? If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
No, they heard it. It's good to see that. You know, that now people couldn't see that message when you guys were talking about it, so it's good that they can see it now.
Like some of the things we bring up, like letting Lily Rose live in sin with a 24-year-old at 15, and the Marilyn Manson stuff, and some of the letting her smoke pot at 13 or 12, whatever, and you can't defend it. You can't defend. So, like, we bring that up. There's no defense. It's indefensible.
It's just stupid. It's like that she listened to 30 minutes of one episode when you were on something negative and never listened to anything else, and then formulated that opinion. So either it was that, if it was trolling, she probably would have left the message, I thought. So maybe she was really genuinely pissed off. So very strange.
Because that mentality, you're searching for the negative. You can't, like Sarah wrote out so succinctly, the impartiality of calling it like we see it, where one huge compliment that should permeate is if you say one negative thing, it's completely sacrilegious. They can't handle any. It's like a sports fan that says, or like you're a huge music fan. You probably have bands that came out with shitty albums, and you're just like, I can't.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, every band I listen to has had a shit album. I could go, oh, what a shit, but it's not like I'm saying it's shit band. But I like when I got I randomly looked at some footage from when you guys were doing the trial, and I just clicked play, and the first thing John is saying is, I have even more respect for Depp after seeing the people he works with talking about him right now.
Yeah.
So that's a huge compliment. So it is.
It is.
I knew it would tweak you guys so much when I saw that comment. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna go nuts on this. And then a few days late, on that last Friday, you guys were.
I mean, I didn't even talk about the charities he does. I had to stop myself. I was gonna talk about, like, I've never seen a celebrity who's more charitable with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. You talk about going to heaven, like, that cancels out everything. Just
Yeah.
being like deft on a Make-A-Wish thing and following through with any interaction he has with fans. Like Sarah brought up Jeff Beck before, Bond. We talked about it, and like I think he's so immensely generous with his fans that his dinosaur rocker friends can't handle the interactions. They're just like, you're not seriously talking to these people. You know, they've been so rarefied and closed off, and without any kind of human interaction with civilians, that they can't believe they have to commingle with plebeians when he
Yeah,
does that. It's always funny to watch like those guys in the background. Joe Perry's like, I can't shake hands with a civilian. What? This is crazy.
It'd change the reasons that some people would say say negative things about celebrities and famous people is still, a lot of that is not their fault, man. It's not the way they're supposed to live their life, being adored by people. That's not how humans should
No,
really
it
live.
takes
It
exactly.
fucks up your life and your mind, and you
It takes
get
a special
scared.
kind of brain
Yeah,
to acknowledge that, to keep as famous as he is to go, shit, I really got to get a perspective here. What is this? I'm making pretend for a living.
and
What is?
they isolate themselves, and so many of them do it, and people, you know, it's part of the deal, and
Yeah,
it
and he
makes them
knows
look
that.
bad
Yeah,
sometimes, and it's not their fault. It's like they just like, I can't cope with this. It's not cool to be able to walk out down the street to the shops and everybody comes up to you telling you they love you. What the fuck is that going to do to your life, your mind?
well,
You don't
it's a
have
crazy irony because he wants it. It's not that he wants it both ways, but most people who get into show business, it's an attention thing. Let's face it. It's right. You
yeah,
didn't get enough of it. You want to be praised all the time. You're looking for attention and adoration. You need to be noticed. He's kind of an outlier in that it doesn't see. I mean, by his own account, he stumbled into show business through Nicolas
yeah,
Cage or whatever, and he wants to be this chameleon and he wants to blend in the background, and and it's almost like that humility makes you like him more, and it does. You can't have both in that word. You can't be an A-list superstar and have anonymity. I mean, he knows that, but 99% of show business is attention whores, and you can't get it. But when you get too much of it, now you don't want it anymore, and you're running from
that's
your own
right.
fans.
I think all of them, almost all of them, when they get it after years, they're just like, okay, it was too much.
Yeah,
I never
I didn't want
wanted it.
this. Yeah.
I'm embarrassed now, and they freak out, and then
And
they
then you have
take
to hear
drugs,
these
and they get
sob
into
stories.
all this shit. Yeah,
Feel sorry for me, right? Like, no, you wanted this.
it
You
would be
the,
fucking weird to want to go out somewhere to see a movie, and everybody is turning around looking at you
yeah,
when you're there, and you have to
yeah.
have security, and you're like, this is awful. Like, I couldn't stand it after. For the first few times, you'd be like, oh, wow, they love me, and then you'd be like, they don't know me, they shouldn't know me, I'm not worth knowing. You'd freak out.
But
Do you think it's hilarious, as I do, that Arm doesn't pay attention to the comment he puts on the screen for 10 minutes?
that's how focused I am on the task at
I'm
hand.
so desensitized to the Australian comments that I saw that, and then I just go,
want
yeah,
now
that's a
because Josh
that's a
Foster brought up Ellen Barkin, and we're going to read a story about her in a second.
yes, go for that.
Okay.
I feel like I'm distracting.
No. That's what we're here to speak to you. However it goes is what it goes. But I have these things, some of the current event stuff. I got a little avant-garde. I found some stuff. In real life streaming. Okay, that's the
Yep.
acronym, Sarah. Yep. Thank you, Kylo.
I'm glad I don't know.
Curriculum Pizza. Let me just jump ahead. There's Johnny Bye Bye, our benevolent Depp contrarian, who we should have on at some point. He really knows his shit too. I think Depp removed some of his ribs to self-suck since the Amber break. What?
I would
my
watch.
Goodness, that's creative.
What?
Creative comment, man. Wow.
That's what they said about Marilyn Manson.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I had Utopia bagels today, the best bagels in Queens, says Hooper. Thank you so much, Kyle. Okay, there's Lauren Marie. Welcome, Lauren. Lauren had a very nice compliment, Sarah, about the 90210 thing we just did.
Thank you.
Two she posted.
I
She
did see
posted,
that. Yeah.
and she had a great. She's a Celtics fan, and she thought I was calling it. I said like a lot of Celtic fans tend to be racist because like Larry Bird's the Great White Hope, and they think is there's them, and then there's Lauren. I find that New York State bred a lot of Celtic fans because there's no team. And you have the Knicks and the Knicks and the Nets are horrible, and the Celtics are on national TV all the time. So a lot of people upstate would gravitate towards the Celtics. I have some friends who are Celtic fans for all the right reasons. And she stuck. God, what else was she played? Lauren played JV like you did, Sarah. Who had a higher assist average? You or Lauren?
I don't even remember mine. I told you once. I don't even remember.
I said 6.5 assists, 11
I had
points a
more than
game.
that. I had more
Really?
assists than that. Yeah, but you got to understand the context. It was a crappy team, and I had to do everything on that team, and I burned out quickly, and I quit.
So you averaged 8 assists a game?
Yeah, maybe.
So to
More than
average 8,
6.
okay, well, even so, to average 8 assists a game, your
It's
team would have to
horrible.
average 16 points. And I've never seen a girls' team score 16 points in a game.
Well, we may have gotten into the 20s a few
That's
times.
crazy.
So.
And you assisted on every field goal?
I had to do everything. That's why I quit.
What was your rebound average?
I don't remember.
Okay. I remember my rebound per minute average.
I know.
How do you not have that written down, Sarah? Tattooed on
because
you?
I let go of high school 30 years ago.
I'm not letting go. I'm letting go of high school. I'm not letting go of rebounding. There's a difference.
I don't want to call you Uncle Rico, but Uncle Rico.
No, I'm talking about rebounding. I told you what was it? I said I'm a better rebounder than Tommy Lee is a drummer. We were arguing about Tommy Lee or something, and I go, she goes, "Oh, he's a great drummer." I go, I don't want to hear it.
I
I'm
said
a
he's
better
a very good
rebounder
drummer.
than he is a drummer.
Theatrically, he's a very good drummer.
Yeah, and I'm a better rebounder and post-up player than he is a drummer.
And then I told you, I said you can't rebound upside down. He can play drums upside down.
No, don't. I'll give it a try. I'll rebound upside down. If it's there, I'm going for it. Oh God, Texano goes the drugs, and the Marilyn Manson. I was thinking about our buddy Scott Balow the other day, and I'm legitimately worried about him now. And because the other day I was looking at an old video and it said Scott Balow is something and waiting to die, and we're like, ha 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 ha.
Let me say that here.
What?
Let's not go into what we believe.
No, but I'm putting an APB
in case it's
out
not true.
Because if anybody knows how to get in contact with him, we would love him to have him back on and in our midst. Because
I just needed a timeout, which I get.
Yeah, totally. I mean, to go dark, as they say. We're going to be dark for like 3 days from this community. I get it, but he's really gone dark, and he has that in him. So I'm legitimately worried. So on to Ellen. Speaking of dark, on to Ellen Barkin. I kind of was wondering like what went on with her, and so this is an article that popped up today. She's on a show that you probably annoys you if you watch a lot of TV. There's an ad for this seemingly every 20 seconds called Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne, and
they're playing it every ad break here. Good Lord.
Right. And so Ellen Barkin's in this thing, and tell me if you could see this. Is it coming up for you? Okay,
if you can see it, we can see it, bro.
I jumped ahead to the part where it got to Animal Kingdom. So there's Ellen Barkin. This is her in Animal Kingdom, which is a show. If I were to describe this show, and again, like I said about Curb Your Enthusiasm, I would never waste your time. Never. There's too many options in life now, and life's too short. But there's a show called Animal Kingdom, and it's on fucking TNT. And that's why I didn't take it seriously at first. I'm watching all this NBA, and they would have commercials for it every 5 seconds. I'm like, God, stop TNT. No one's watching your original shows. So one day it just hooked me. I saw the premise for it, and it was like this crime family that lives together, and they're risk takers. And I'm like, let me give this a shot. And boy, did I get hooked. If I were to describe this show to people that it'd be like if we've all seen Point Break, right?
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorites.
With Swayze and Keanu Reeves, who Depp was actually up for the Keanu Reeves role, by the way. And Catherine Bigelow had to fight to get Keanu Reeves the role because they wanted to give it to Depp, but I think he turned it down anyway, as the legend goes. Which you could see, right? How Johnny's like, I'm not playing Johnny Utah. I'm Johnny Depp. I'm not doing that. I don't
Yeah,
know. I would love to hear what his opinion on it was, because I love Point Break. Point Break is a guilty pleasure for all of us. And so this
he would have been
show,
amazing in it, Depp. He would have been better than Keanu, I think.
you
Keanu
know what's
just
interesting,
can't
Bon? I
act back
originally
then.
heard that Depp was up for the Patrick Swayze role.
No.
He
And
probably would have killed that too, but Patrick was fantastic. Like
he's so
he can
athletic. And
act.
yeah. But you have to be like a super athlete to do that. That's what Swayze kind of is.
It was great seeing him
Yeah.
really surfing and all
Yeah.
that shit. Like he
I
was,
agree.
they all those guys in that crew were all really surfing. It was fucking awesome.
So this is the show, as you say, surfing. So these guys are like kind of like on the verge of pro surfers, and they live in something called Oceanside, California, which is like a suburb of San Diego. I think it's just outside of, if it really exists. I think it does. Xavier said it existed. He kind of lived over there. Um, and it's a crime family that is like professional surfers, and they pull all these elaborate heists, and the mom, and it's this broken family and this weird incest going on. And it'd be like, do we all,
Fun.
well, I'm sure, Sarah, I'm sure you have it in Oregon. Bon, I don't know if you have this.
Incest? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's what I mean.
In the mountains?
no.
Yes.
Thank you, Lauren Marie. Thank you, Lauren Marie. Once again, there's Brendan. To be fair, it was a good point calling out Arm, because he's the astronaut's wife. He's like a broken record with that. Hey, Brendan, I got you broken record between my motherfucking legs. If you bring up
I hope
Fuji
it doesn't
Lights
look like
one more
that.
time. I could bring up the Ninth Gate. I could bring up The Source. I could bring up Dead Man. I could bring up Nick of Time, which I saw double
Transcendence.
digit Transcendence. Right? I could just go. I just latched on to the Ninth Gate, but it's funny. I love that she's annoyed by that. So it'd be like if, you know, that house in every suburban community that, you know, it's just a typical middle class suburban, you know, nuclear family, blah blah blah. There's always one house on the block that you sort of just like, what the fuck's going on here? You know, there's jet skis and ATVs and parties at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday, and there's just endless alcohol in the trash can at all times. You know, what, you know, this is one, and it's just nothing but 20 somethings and 30 somethings living in the same house. You're not sure who lives there, and there's just cars in and out, and that's this house. And there's a huge gate around it, and it really is weird that weird house in your neighborhood where you're just like, what the fuck is going on here? And that's this show, and I couldn't stop watching it. Again, I would not waste your time, but it's a crime family who are risk takers and surfers, and it's all weird, and it is so good. It's so watchable. I couldn't believe it's on TNT too. It's bizarre. I thought Ted Turner was going to walk in any minute. But I recommend that. And Bond says it's based on I know it's based on an original Australian movie called of the same name, and I heard that's very good. You've seen that, right, Bond?
Yeah. Yep. A case of both being awesome, which is rare. To have a remake be so great as well.
So if everybody wants an update on Lauren Marie's basketball career, she skipped JV and went right to varsity from ninth.
Ooh la la. I'm just
That's
kidding.
pretty good. I think Lauren was a two guard who averaged 9.5 points a game and 3 assists. That's my predict. They're not moving her up unless she's a dead eye. She must be a guard of some kind.
Well, in my situation too, when they make somebody who's probably built to play a 4 or 5 play a 1, there's a problem. That's all I'm going to say.
You're built. No, you're so tough on
Probably.
yourself. Are you comparing yourself to like the power guards of the generate, like a Sherman Douglas?
High school girl body, probably.
Oh no. There's got to be footage of you out there. Some crazy parent
No.
videotaped you
No.
playing. Oh man. Okay. So this is Ellen Barkin. Now she's on the show, and they wrote this expansive. This is in the Huffington Post, by the way, which is not a cookie cutter nickel and dime publication. It's a pretty big deal, and it's a huge, expansive, almost biographical thing. And I kind of cut to where the part of Animal Kingdom is, because so take for example Ellen Barkin's time on Animal. She's a weird broad. I mean, she's so bizarre. Take for example Ellen Barkin's time on
Mm. Okay.
Was I muted?
We lost you.
Yeah,
We
you were
lost
Sorry
muted.
about that. Barkin's on Animal Kingdom, a TNT series adapted from a 2010 Australian movie centering on a criminal family. She played the malicious, utterly captivating matriarch Smurf, one of the very few women of the show from 2016 to 2019 until her character was killed off. So I'm watching this and I'm thinking, like, why are you killing her off? What the, like, oh, did you write that in the beginning? And so as it turns out, she wanted off the show. I wanted out, says Barkin. They didn't kill me. I had been asking to leave for 4 years. She wanted to step down since day one, even though she was first on the call sheet and the main reason to watch since the canceled series. And in the beginning, the show wouldn't let her out. However, she did make it clear Scott Speedman over here, leave when he asked to go. His character was also go. So those two were the first and second on the call sheet and probably the most well known when this show. And they were both really good and watchable and everything. And it hurt the show immensely when they left. And it really didn't replace them with anything. This is bizarre, which I would have thought. It's like there's so much going on in these scripts. I don't know how actors wouldn't want to stick with this. It's only 13 episodes. It's not like it requires your whole year. It's bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys in this show, by the way, was in Public Enemies with Depp. Played a gangster. No, he played a cop. I'm sorry. For what it's worth, Barkin said that was some of the best work I've ever done. Of course, yeah. Well, how come you didn't know that then? But by her account, it was not. This is everything with her. It's
I
nothing.
know. She's a victim in every situation.
Is anything pleasant with her?
No. I mean, he threw a wine bottle in the same room she was in. She was across the room. He didn't even really throw it in her direction anymore because it kind of story changed.
To her credit, she admits that, though.
But yeah, it was aimed at her.
Right.
Victim.
Where am I here? Okay. By her account, it wasn't a pleasant place to work. Smurf became miserably underdeveloped as the seasons progressed. I didn't think so. She was always. And the show brought on a younger actor to play the part. Yeah, so they would do these flashback scenes with like someone who looked like a young Ellen Barkin, and they probably, the flashback scenes really, really take you out of it. They're well done, but you're not into it. You just like get me back in real time. You're too into what's currently going on that it takes you out, and they spend a god awful amount of time on it, like meandering.
Yeah, they did that on like other shows, like Lost, the TV show. That was just
nobody's
like backstory.
Is anyone ever into it, Bond? Like maybe for 5 seconds do it, and then that's it.
With Lost, I got sucked into it. It became like, because it was so epically made. But mostly, I've fast forwarded through shit like that in other shows. When then
do a prequel then, right?
Just
do a prequel. Just do a full prequel and make it the whole show if you want to. Like it doesn't go. You want to talk about treating women disrespectfully? On my show, there's a young me, Barkin recalled. Oh, what the hell is that? She's already in her 60s when she began Animal Kingdom, was shocked by her treatment on set. My head just whipped around, Barkin recalled. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Men, I hate men, used to come in my trailer and just scream at me. You believe this?
No.
Someone screaming at her on this set? How's that for you? With me pushing them out my trailer going, get out of my trailer. That's what it's like for me to go to work. It was intolerable. I was like, wow. I hate these. Oh, God, she says it here. Oh, my God. I'm like, I hate men. I hate these men, Barkin says. Most of them were just like little boys. There she is in modern day. Okay, cut to down here.
I mean, look at her face. She looks very approachable.
Yeah, that is the bastion of approachability right here. Well said, Sarah. If you've seen Barkin on social media in recent years or even read pieces like this one, she goes off on a rampant toxicity that persists in Hollywood when you're probably already familiar with her candor, insight, and audacity, which she prohibits her from mincing her words beyond speaking about her own awful experiences in Hollywood. She has helped bring attention to world issues and has been unafraid to call out the behavior of those she refers to as bad faith actors, even to the point where she's been advised against it. Yeah, I've gotten phone calls that said, please don't tweet, Ellen, but that hasn't stopped her. I kind of like this quote here, but I've heard Depp say this about Marlon Brando, but it hasn't stopped her. The truth is, I'm 68 years old, she said. I don't give a fuck. I'm fresh out of all my fucks. And she's just much as beloved for that mindset by her fans as trolls malign her for it. Injustice against anyone simply makes her blood boil. I just can't watch an underdog or a minority, a woman, a child, a person of color. I can't see it. Barkin said, I go mental. I'm a Jew. I never called myself white. My grandmother taught me that. My bubby said to me, you are not white. Stop saying that. She's from the Bronx, by the way. She still checks the other box on her race, even though she believes it was 1940 when white Jewish people no longer had to identify themselves as others. But does she recognize that she still benefits from white privilege? Of course I do. She said emphatically, are you kidding me? As a child, I certainly had a lot of guilt about it. I was a blonde-haired, green-eyed Jew with a little nose when I was young, and she recalled it's called a shiksa. That's a non-Jewish woman, and I was always referred to that way. So yeah, my privileges, of course. Let me go down to Depp. Let me cut. Okay, here he is. Case in point, she testified at the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial defamation last year when she witnessing violence by Depp himself, her former lover. She recalled asking why she was subpoenaed and was told that every lawyer in the room said she wouldn't lie. And that was the nicest thing anyone had ever said about me, she remarked. I felt more proud of myself than ever. And I was like, yes, that's the truth, and I won't lie. So this is a shot I hadn't seen, sir. Look at this shot.
Yeah, that comes out sometime. That angle has been shown a few times, not of this testimony, but the Kate Moss testimony. I've seen this angle.
That's a really cool picture.
Yeah,
I've
I
not.
love.
I've
Do you know
only
how much?
seen the zoom on her.
You know how much I love? He won't even acknowledge the people he doesn't like.
You know how
He won't
people
even
put.
look at them.
Yeah, I know. It takes a lot of focus. That's a long trial too. He looks at the stenographer though, Sarah, your favorite on the right.
Yeah, that's fine.
It, you know how people put weird shit up in their, post pictures and posters and shit. Wouldn't this be a great picture for someone's living room if you just blew this up and put it in a frame? Look at this. Isn't that a really cool picture? Seriously.
I would take the shot of just her deposition, that freeze frame right there. Is she
Yeah, it's
pointing?
nice.
I would art that out, like filter it through some Dr. Ivan filters from SFN and just
That's a
blow it up
reference.
and hang it up on my wall.
Hey, Bon, I have this strong feeling, and I have a slight feeling, Sarah. Are you a good artist, sketch artist?
Me?
Bon.
Oh, no. Okay.
Me, no. I wish
Oh,
I
I,
was
I
because
just
I
figured
come up with. I would love to be able to illustrate and then animate illustrations. Like I could illustrate Sarah with her mask on, and then you
Yeah.
talking to her. I'm terrible at it. It was enough just to spend all the years learning guitar and singing and playing in bands. To try and do all of them. It's just so. I have a huge respect for people, like I guess Depp, who could do all these different things. And even if you hate his art, he still does it. So does Marilyn Manson. They spend a lot of time on it. So it's amazing. But all those guys kind of did those kinds of things before the big computers became huge in the early 2000s and stuff.
Mhm.
And now it's kind of like you learn. There's even more you can do on a computer. But I wish I could, though, to answer your question. But I'm hopeless.
No, that's me too. I mean, I was a huge comic book fan growing up, and I think we all attempt to draw at some point, and I just don't have it. I think you're born with it or you don't have it. The perspective and the skill. You can work. I'm living proof. You can work and work and work and try and just spend inordinate amounts of time trying to, and I just don't have it. I just don't have perspective. I don't have that little thing that artists have naturally, and I'm living proof. The more you do it, the worse you get. Like a golfer who can't get a stroke better. I just don't have it. I think you have
Yeah.
to be somewhat born with it.
I tried like a long time ago, and looked at like little tutorials on drawing, and then I tried and I knew that you could learn, and I was just like, well, that's gonna take
I
a
don't know about
year at
that. I don't know.
least to
Yeah,
get
no.
anywhere at
I think
all.
I bet you Sarah can. I have a feeling Sarah
Yeah,
can.
I'd love Sarah, will you answer the question?
Can I doodle?
Yes, no draw. Like just decent.
It's more doodling. But by the way, thank you, Philly29, as always. Um,
Yeah, I'll get
was
to the chat in a second. I'm just gonna read this. I'm gonna finish this.
my only good part. My claim to fame. I took all art classes in high school, basically, but in
Okay.
science classes, a weird combination. But my only fame in art class was in ceramics class, and also I'm the only person who knew where to put the eyes on a head, sketching a face.
Will you do us
Okay.
Bon just asked you a hard hitting question. Will you do us a favor and do like a depth drawing for us and we
No, I
can
can't
show it?
draw that. I
Please,
know.
please, I'm begging you.
Now we're begging.
It's your
It's been 30
Seriously.
years.
It's your personal style, Sarah. I mean, I've
Look
seen
at the
comic book
chat,
artists.
Sarah. They're
Yeah.
about to start.
Yeah, they're going
begging.
crazy.
Press 1 in the chat if you want this. If you want this, type 1.
I'll just run it through an Ivan filter, and you'll never know. And I'll sell it as my own art.
Now
Oh,
I'm not going
God,
to be able to stop thinking about it. I want to see. I'd pay hundreds to see her actually drawing.
I
If
would
she put
too.
a camera up with her with her glasses on.
She'll put it on
drawing.
Patreon.
Do you
I looked-
doodle? Sorry, you go, Sarah. Go.
No, I did look into going to the Art Institute of Seattle after high school, but I just never
See?
did.
Yeah, that's a real. You don't plan to do that unless you have some natural skill.
She's playing it down, John.
Yeah,
How often do
absolutely.
you
You're
doodle,
definitely being my-
Sarah? How
absolutely.
often?
I'm
when
just.
you-
I'm also trying to think. When am I going to have time to sketch something?
Let's
Just
get into
something
this.
simple.
Do you have a book? You have a book, don't you? A notebook where you doodle, right?
I guess. Yeah.
A current. This is it, John. You're right. You're spot on, John. We have to investigate. We want to see this book.
I did have a sketchbook when I was in high school of different outfits that I would draw. Like,
Wow, I like this. Monique would
that's
love to
it.
see that. You know that.
I don't even.
She's
It's
very-
long gone.
Hooper, that's a phenomenal Gary Busey reference. He's talking about. You remember when they were Keanu and Gary
Yes, I
Busey
do.
were in the
Utah,
Yeah,
get
it's
me
a-
too.
yeah,
Utah.
I want to Utah. Get me too.
It's a classic moment, and it ruins everything. All they had to do was sit there for a couple more minutes, and that whole movie would have been a lot easier. They would have just run up to them and shot them all.
And Keanu ate healthy, right? He wanted like a tuna sandwich or something
Yeah,
like that.
he did.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
but do
Two
you remember-
lemonades, too. 2 lemonades.
Do you remember
Ugh.
when that car pulled up? That was
Yeah,
an
yeah.
intense moment in that movie. You go, holy shit, it's
You
happening.
remember
right
Anthony
now.
Kiedis spawn in that movie?
Yes. Oh, he
Yeah.
gets shot in the foot.
Yeah.
I know the whole John. Do you remember how many times I've seen this movie? I've got Anthony Kiedis going. Look, wait a sec. I've got Patrick Swayze going, back off, war child. Seriously.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Kiedis goes, and then then Keanu goes, this is the point you guys are gonna tell me that I'm some fucking losers to piss off and go find some other area. And then he goes, no, and then Anthony goes, no, we're not gonna do that. That'd be just, we're just gonna kick your ass. And then-
You really know. Oh my, that's a great fit. And then
My-
Swayze joins in on the beach in the
we
fist
couldn't
fight.
believe it. I
Yeah.
was like 13 years old, and we loved the Chili Peppers at that point so much. And we heard that Anthony was in it, and when we saw him on the screen, we were like, "It's fucking Anthony! Oh my god, he's a drug addict, fucking criminal." It was so great. There's so many lines in that movie. At the end, when Patrick goes off surfing, and the bloody terrible actor with the terrible Australian accent goes, "We'll get him when he comes back." in."
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. You harp on that one scene. Yeah,
I
they
saw
brought up
that
Lori
movie,
Petty
like-
in there. Tank Girl. Who was that brought up
Oh,
Lori Petty?
she was great in that movie. Or not Tank Girl, but in
Texaho
Point Break.
brought her up, yeah,
Perfect,
yeah.
perfect for her.
If you can't, Tone Cott goes, I can't see Depp as a surfer dude. He would have survived working with Gary. He worked with Gary Busey, Tone Cott, in Fear and Loathing. Gary Busey's the cop in the beginning of Fear and Loathing. It pulls him over. Remember the opening scene?
It's an amazing scene.
Yeah.
That's the best parts of that first half is incredible. That movie's so funny. The first half.
Sarah
The
loves
second
my
half's crazy.
Sarah loves my man on the street stories. So another celebrity run-in I had, Sarah, was with
Ugh.
Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller, who was he was
Oh,
crossing the street,
Really.
and I see him. He's a huge guy, so I stop him and I go, so what do I talk to him about? Out of all the things he's done, I talked to him about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He has a cameo for maybe 2 seconds somewhere in the thing. And he goes, of all the things you bring up, fear and loathing. He's like, nobody ever catches me in that. He's like, Johnny Depp's a great guy. He drove me around. I showed him Las Vegas. I drove him around for like 4 hours. So he was sitting there at the light talking about fear and loathing. I mean, he's literally in the movie for 2 seconds.
What else are you going to talk about? You don't want to see one of his stupid fucking fake magic tricks.
He's talented. He's a good magician. Come on.
They all suck. So
You sound like Jackie at the, oh, you all suck. David C. Patrick Swayze was the shit in Point Break. Yes, he was. Rest in peace, Patrick Swayze. How long has he been dead for?
Too long. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I want to say 2009, but we had an influx of celebrities die in 2009. I'll look it up.
Okay. Thank you, Crazy Robin. Oceanside is a nice part of San Diego. There's an Oceanside, Long Island, too, Crazy Robin, which is like, there's a bunch of celebrities from there. One of the guys is Michael Rosenbaum, who played Luthor.
2009. I was right.
Okay. Wow. Is it 14 years ago?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Is it?
Oh, Michael Jackson died that year. Whitney Houston died that year. Farrah Fawcett died that year.
Hey, Tone Cut, I'm not even sure Point Break is set in the summer. I'm not even sure it's summer there, because it's nice all year round. I'm not sure what time of year it is actually.
I'm wrong. Never mind.
What is it?
Whitney Houston died in 2012.
Okay.
The rest I'm right about.
It's a real city. Oh, Lauren Marie played center. That's crazy. They brought her up. She's like that's great. She must have been a terror on the glass.
Well, she's like a Manute Bowl center, and I'm like a Kevin Duckworth center.
I picture Lauren Marie as being like the Jokic of Saratoga, right? I imagine you two in the same team. You feeding Lauren or an alley-oop. That 1-2 the Stockton and Malone of Saratoga to Salem.
No, she can
volleyball. Anyone? I love volleyball, Crazy Robin. I've always said that I ref volleyball too. I've always said that should be a men's professional sport and it should be very big. It's fun to play. It's fun to watch. I don't understand why it's not bigger. They should have stats and everything. I wish I could make that happen and commission it. I really don't understand why it's not a major professional sport. It's easy and cheap to play. I don't know. Who doesn't love volleyball?
Me.
Rotate. Right, Sarah?
I hate it even on 90210 in the summer episodes.
Yeah, Lauren's a high school center. So yeah, 5'10", 5'11" is like
Jesus.
that's girls.
No, she's 5'11".
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's girls basketball. You can play center sometimes.
I'm 5'4". Her head would be in the clouds for me. I couldn't compare.
Tone Cot, lacrosse is a badass sport. My nephew, I didn't know anything about lacrosse. It wasn't offered when I was a kid. It just came around much later, and only a few states even offer it. My nephew played. It got very big when my nephew was a kid. And you guys are warriors. I mean, just whacking each other with sticks and ramming into each other. There's no pads. I don't understand how these guys. You know how the NBA is like these insane pussy boy injuries, and even these guys are kicking the shit out of each other. And unlike hockey, they have no pads on. They have like a little shoulder pad or something. It's crazy the warriors these guys are. It really is. Like, you don't know physicality until you've watched like lacrosse. I don't even understand how no one gets hurt. I don't understand how there's no injuries.
I'm flashing back to volleyball in high school, and every time I would serve the ball, it would hurt my wrist. And I would look down at my wrist would be red, and I'm done. I'm not playing this. It hurts too much.
Lauren is the Lily Sobieski of Radio Gunk and Deppening.
One shot or whatever that.
Do it.
I don't remember any of it.
One, like the other. Glad
not
to know
one,
you were alive.
Not whatever. Oh God, that was so cringe on Jay Leno.
You know, you heard that, right? Bon Lily Sobieski's
you can
9/11.
Pull. I don't know if you can pull that up here. Never mind.
Yeah, Kaola. She's about 10 years older than Depp. 8 years older or something like that. Around 10. 8 to 10 years older. Talk about Ellen Barkin and their affair. Well, let me get back to that. Johnny Bob, I said, Ellen Barkin seems like a good F. These bratty bitch stories are only making me. he's such a contrarian.
Wow.
I want to feel. Kyla says, I want to feel the sun. I bet you Lauren. Imagine Lauren elbowing Beth in the jaw in Pittsburgh in a battle for a rebound. How great would that be? So let me get back to this article here. So, in fact, Barkin considered it her duty. I've never met Amber. I didn't realize this. I figured they did know each other. I've never met Amber Heard in my life, but I know that I know and what I know about Johnny Depp. He never touched me, but I saw violence. I saw him strangle an assistant director right in front of me. He did also throw a wine bottle in my direction, but I didn't feel at the time that testifying was some kind of act of bravery. I felt it's just what you do. Barkin doesn't claim to be an activist and acknowledge that there are certain things she won't do, like going and protest due to her age and her fear of violence. So she focuses on the things she can and feels necessary to do. I guess I feel like I'm just a human being and I'm obliged to stand up for my fellow man when they need my help. Barkin says, it sounds corny as shit, but the older I get, the more I just can't say I cannot stand for this with my mouth closed. I'll end that there, but I think in the what's it, Sarah? The unsealed documents.
One day, one more than another. The other that day, those people too many, too personal, but not. People you know, but you yourself know not.
Okay, I had to vomit. There you go.
Wow.
Did you find that or did Bond find that?
No, I just found that.
Oh,
Sarah
God.
just did a drop.
Nice
Awesome.
job,
You want the
Sarah.
rest? Do you want to cringe more?
Please.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Make it loud. Can you raise the volume, Sarah?
It's up all the way.
Okay.
Okay.
Walking, silently screaming, slowly running, often feeling nothing. Seeing the lucky ones fleeing, seeing those trapped inside. Cry. Cry. It's okay. It's not okay. Smile. If it's natural, feel alive. The president speaks. The situation reeks an act of war.
Oh.
I enter my room, close the door, sit here. Here where buildings do not fall to the floor. We young will experience much more. Future, liberty, the freedom to move about in poetry. My brother, I love you. All friends and family too. Safe for now. Glad to know I'm alive with all of you. Feel what is real. Feel, later heal.
It's almost done.
One person feeling the same as all the rest. Please let us act and do what is best.
Oh.
I'm speechless.
The quality's horrible. That's the best one.
No, we heard it. You got the gist. We got the gist. That's good enough. Thank you
That's
for
kind
getting
of
that,
Emily
Sarah.
Stern sort of thing going there, almost.
Oh.
You know, she's got the Emily tone.
Lauren
The
Marie just
world,
agreed to
the
reenact that and
beauty.
send us an audio of it. I love the applause and the Tonight Show crowd after she does it. They give it like an uncomfortable kind of just like,
They're like,
gratuitous. Yeah. I love at the end she goes, "Let us act and do what is best." What are you acting as? What are you doing?
She wrote the poem. That's how she's
Yeah,
contributing.
What is she acting and doing as best? She's fucking Rumsfeld.
That was
Let
that
us
day's
act.
version of creating a hashtag, and now you've done something.
Well, enlist in the military, Lily. You're of age, right? Do what is best. Enlist.
Yeah.
Fight the wrong war.
Such a caregiver. Go be a nurse in the military.
It's probably with her. I bet you that haunts her to this day. Like, I bet you people bring that up.
No, I doubt it. She probably is so proud of that.
I would love to know. I would love to get an update. She'll be on Howard, I bet, in the next year. And actually, he won't acknowledge that because all he did is goof on her. So he'll actually pretend that never happened. She was in Public Enemies, by the way. Once again, you want to see how tall Lily Sobieski is. She actually is a couple inches bigger than Depp as they're walking together at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember
girl.
that. You saw Public Enemies, right, Sarah?
Yes, a couple times. Not 8 times, but I've seen it.
I
saw more than 8.
Cinema. Yeah.
He's a 10 in that movie. Oh.
You are 10 in that movie, Toots.
Oh, that movie I sent you via text?
Wow.
Just kidding.
I don't even know what she's talking about. I don't even know. She's laughing for no reason. I don't even know what she's talking about. Doodling Depp is busy with magic markers and gummy bears. Look at Johnny Bye-Bye, the contrarian. Go after him, Holly Pop. Go after Johnny. Where is Dr. Ivan these days, Sarah? PCPBO wants to know.
Last thing I saw, and I wish I hadn't, but somehow he came up in my Twitter feed, and I don't know. He came off like he was retiring from something. I don't know. Maybe his subscription to the filter service expired, so he's moving on.
Hey, Sarah, Lauren Marie majored in fine art in college.
Better than me.
Maybe she can do you can have dueling I want to see you do a portrait of Depp and Camilla in the same shot.
No.
Oh,
I
come
want to
on.
see something. Come on, we're begging.
Everyone's
John,
begging Sarah.
I know we're giving up. I mean, we are just.
Back off, war child. Seriously.
Point Break drops. I don't think anyone in the history of radio or otherwise has played a Point Break drop like that. I've heard the Keanu Reeves one where he goes, "I am an FBI agent." Everybody does that. I think it's even in like
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto. That
Yeah, it's
is
like a
so
meme.
unique.
Yeah, yep. Back
You
off,
see
watch
that
out.
you're an artist in that way. I think your drops are better than
Thank
any
you.
sketch.
You're so nice to me, my God. It's
Well, how did you get it,
humbling.
Depp? See, look at Fred. Look at how easy Fred Norris's job is. Look at how Bond does it without even flinching in his sleep. Tracy Millman herself says there's no easier job on the Howard Stern show than the Fred Norris job. Tracy Millman said it. I believe her. Look at Bond doing it effortlessly and just innovatively, creating drops on the spot. Fred hasn't had a new drop since fucking Jackie was there. Right? Am I right, Sarah?
I would agree
yes,
with
Sarah.
that.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would
at
agree
least
with that.
What can she say after you say that,
I
John?
know.
She can go, no, I don't.
Sarah, Johnny Bye Bye's got a great picture for you.
I know. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about
I
the
know you
logistics
would,
of that.
and I know that you try, and I
I can do
know
that.
that you do your very best. That's perfect, Johnny Bye Bye. Sarah agreed to do it. For all you've done for us, it's the least she can do for you.
I need weeks though, because I gotta find 2 seconds to even start.
Crazy Robin. Farrah dies on the same day as MJ. Kevin Duckworth, awesome reference. Oh, you
Hey,
want to do good?
it's a hometown man. I gotta give him credit.
Rest in peace, Kevin Duckworth. I saw that. I told you I saw
Very
that
sad death.
that picture where it's got in the same shot. It's Duckworth, Jerome Kersey, Cliff Robinson, and Drazen Petrovic all dead.
So it's very sad.
Yep. In the last few years, they've all passed
I
away.
drive by Kevin Duckworth's place of death at least twice a month, and it's very depressing. Every time I drive by it, I give him a silent salute.
Yep. Thank you, Brendan. Yeah, lacrosse is a total badass. It is a badass sport for rich white douchebags. It's bizarre, right? The dichotomy of that, or that it is like you don't think of rich white guys as being like bad, but it's a badass sport, and you do have to be rich. He's absolutely right. It's bizarre that it's kind of oxymoronic in that way. Because basketball is kind of like anyone can play it, just chewing a ball in a hoop, and it's just you don't need money to do it. Hockey's a rich guy. Hockey's another one. Got to be rich to play it. All that ice time and the equipment.
Ice time.
No, Bond. Seriously, I don't know how big hockey is in Australia, but you have to rent rinks here in order to even practice at like 2:00 in the morning on a Wednesday. It's so bizarre. Anyone I know that plays ice hockey is fairly wealthy because you just can't. All the shit that goes into it, you can't just be some middle civilian.
At a certain point, though, early in the training, you have to have like a coach too that you have to pay for.
Yeah.
Like a skating coach at least.
I don't even know how to skate. I don't
even want to try. I was roller skating and I fell on my tailbone. And I swear to God, I cracked it and I was done for the rest of my life.
If Depp was a fellow tribe member, Barkin would sing a different story. That's a good question, Texo.
Well,
maybe.
Yeah. Ron Perlman, she
Island.
milked for quite a few dollars in there.
You didn't know his name was anglicized, Texo? It's actually Deppstein Island. He's from He's from Roslyn, Long Island. You didn't know that? Ellen Barkin is one of the women, David says this, who tried to go toe-to-toe with Letterman like Terry Garr, where it just came off as like this hateable 90s battle. I remember how awkward that was. How David watched Ellen Barkin on Letterman in the early 90s, I have no idea. But
he was her stylist.
He was her stylist. I can't wait for you two to do that 90210 episode, by the way. That's going to be good. Public Enemy's great movie, but it made me cry. It was sad, Crazy Robin. Public Enemy. I agree. He kind of fancied himself as a Robin Hood in a way in Public Enemies, right? I mean, that you're kind of like John Dillinger thought of himself as a bit of a Robin Hood, and it was sad. And that's what Depp can do to you. Is like you're really not supposed to be rooting for that guy. And it's
there's a what would you call it, an Easter egg? But There, if you look at the back of his hair, his scalp in that movie, he has an X shaved into the bottom of his hairline, and that's where he gets shot at the end. But
I
all through the
love
movie,
that. I love
he has
that.
that X right there.
Oh, I love that you picked up on that.
That's weird, really.
Yeah, Bonds, you know Depp has a little X shaved in the bottom right of his like neck, like not what would you say,
The
Sarah? Like where you
hairline
shave.
on the back of the head, on the
Yes,
skull,
it's like an
going
I'm
into
gonna
the
X
have
neck.
shaved
to.
into it. She's
I'll have to
absolutely
check
right.
it
That's a
out.
great observation. You know, Christian Bale is a great actor. He's in that, and you know, the two of them are over the title and everything. They're only in one scene together in the whole movie. Like you think of them, oh, it's the, you know, God, John Dillinger, and they're going back and forth, and with Agent Purvis, and no, they're all there. He sees him in the jail cell that one time. I don't know if like the shit that's deleted or whatever, but they just have one scene where Dillinger's in the jail cell and Christian Bale comes in there to chide him. If you remember that scene.
I saw it at the cinema and never saw it again because I was bitterly disappointed. I just didn't like the movie. Because I love Michael Mann and I thought it was going to be incredible, and it didn't feel right at all. It's really. So
You
I
know who
can't
doesn't? You
remember
know who
anything.
doesn't love
I
Michael
should
Mann?
watch it
Don?
again. Who?
Depp and David. They both hate his guts.
Oh, I love Michael Mann. Wow.
Next time when we go down this road, and I don't know, we'll do Public Enemies, or maybe I'll just do it as a story next week in the beginning. Michael Mann and Depp, they had a huge, just creative differences. They actually, this is an insistent rumor that keeps coming up, and I believe it, that they didn't speak on the set after a while. They had to be like interpreted by a producer. They had like Michael Mann's supposedly really prickly on set, and Depp is not, and they just did not clash. I think he just wouldn't listen to his creative offerings and shit. And they hated each other. If you notice,
Michael
Depp does not bring
Mann's.
him up since.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's sad because you look at his greatest films like Heat and the Insider. He's like a genius almost at movie making. I think he's like a Scorsese, but
Uh,
he's so so intense. I've watched all documentaries and commentaries with
Very
him, and
intense, right?
he creates the world. You don't really need to say anything. He's like, just do this. So if you
I
don't
can't.
like
Yeah, I can't
that,
imagine his sets are some knee slapping Mardi Gras. You know, it's
no.
probably
But
yeah.
you see, Al Pacino worked with him at least twice, so it couldn't have been that bad. Like, and those guys are, De Niro and Pacino are super creative, but that's sad that Depp. It might have been a better movie if Depp had given him some ideas, maybe. Who knows? Because that was he hasn't really done a good movie since The Insider, since the late 90s.
It's tough, you know, and he obviously wrought Miami Vice and
That
everything.
sucked ass. That was a terrible
It's
movie.
a
The
really
remake,
overrated show, Bond.
with
Sarah and I both watched it because what the hell was it, Sarah? We were doing. We were gonna do a watch along with it or something, and then we watched a couple of episodes.
I don't know.
It's very weird, Bonnie. It's like it's awkward, and it's the action's kind of lame, and it's just strange. It's not. It's highly overrated. I watched 2 full seasons, and I just couldn't understand the gushing that it got.
yeah,
I don't know
I
if
remember it, but
for the time, Don Johnson and it's what his daughter is in Black Mass. Dakota Johnson's in Black Mass with Depp, who's a much bigger movie star than he is. Dakota Johnson, she's like in everything now. It's kind of
yeah,
crazy.
she is. Yeah,
You're getting a lot of compliments here, Bond. Crazy Robin goes, "That's Bond. He's a real talent." Tone Cott goes, "Bond can have a groundbreaking band like King Norris."
I am an FBI agent. I know, man. Isn't it wild?
Swayze. That clip is that's in Jesus Grand Theft Auto. They actually incorporate that into it as a
Oh,
Net
wow.
fan. Tone Cott's a Nets fan. Drazen Petrovic. Remember Roy Hinson, Tone Cott? Armin Gilliam's on my face. He passed away too, Armin Gilliam. I'm not a rich white guy. I'm white trash from the sticks of New Jersey. I paid $60 for a stick and some tape and some shitty shoulder pads. All right. Yeah, I mean, but if you know those traveling leagues, I think Tone Cod is what those are expensive when you do that, all that weird traveling leagues. Thank you, Josh Foster, for all you do and your bagel oasisness. He writes, who am I? Shamik Holdsclaw over here.
I don't even know that name, but I love the way you
You
just
might
said
have
that.
made that's Megan Foster. Holly Poop. Megan Foster, welcome. There's Holly Poop, everyone.
Holy
You
shit!
got a
Oh
celebrity
my
Well,
in the
God,
I'm
house.
reading. I'm reading
I
that, and I'm
cannot
looking at my
believe it.
block list. She's not on my block list.
You are not blocked, Megan. If we did, that's our bad. We'll restore it for you because it's masterfully written and there's no
Oh,
spelling errors except you
Megan,
said deep.
are you gonna come on, Megan? Have you ever been on a podcast or talked? You should talk to Come on, would you record you just making
Will
a
you come on with us,
speech and
Bond? She's
send
never
it to
been.
us? Because
Will you?
this is outstanding. I never thought we'd hear from them again. So this is your real. So Megan, let's talk to Megan. So how do
You-
you? So she did not delete it.
Yeah, I'm looking at my block list. I haven't blocked anybody in a long time, but she's not on it.
There's no way
It
I would
wasn't
have.
her intention. What do you think? Did you see the Radio Gunk segment a few days ago, Megan?
Yeah. Do you want? Nah, there's no way she saw that, right?
But what did you think of Arm's speech, Megan? The essence of what he was saying. This is outstanding.
This is
This is-
tremendous.
I am-
I was hoping she would come back. I was actually.
I'm doing a bit. I'm gonna screen capture this and do a
this
bit
is
on
great.
radio. We got an actual response. I'm sure she's typing away. Collateral is very good.
Yeah,
very
it's a good
very
one. Can I make another brilliant observation by me? That this should speak to Holly Pop, my super fandom. So you brought up you brought up Heat before, and I think Michael Mann must have this like weird thing he does where he has two superstars in a movie. So in that he had De Niro and Pacino.
Mhm.
And unless I'm mistaken, they only have one little scene together at a diner,
Yeah.
right? So what
Apart
does he
from
do
the
with
end where there's like a confrontation, but that's very quick. Yeah, you're right. He
So what does he
saves
do
it.
with Depp and Christian Bale? Exact same thing. They
Yes,
have one
and that
scene
would
together
mirror.
in
He
the middle,
probably-
everybody,
I
and then
should,
at the end,
I
just
will
like
watch I will watch that movie again, and I will watch the commentary and see if he says that. Yeah, I'm basically just reliving the De Niro and Pacino moment because you are right. I
no,
guarantee
there
he
must be a
did it.
thing he
He's
does where
that-
he takes the two actors over the title and he says, you know what? I'm not gonna fucking capitulate to the audience. I'm gonna have them separate, and they're only gonna meet once, and it's gonna be a very special meeting, and we'll have them sort of like where they're on opposite sides, and all these directors repeat the same tropes. You know that.
Well, I guess he took it all from The Godfather, where they both in it and they
Yeah.
don't meet
Yes.
either. So
Yep.
it's great. It's great. It's great. I'm loving it. I love
They
it.
accused Ted Demme of taking Goodfellas model to do Blow. If you watch Blow, they feel that it followed the Goodfellas formula, which I get.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Which I get.
Yep. Those, if you're trying to make a movie about someone doing illegal things, you always have to have that. Now you have that their rise and
Yeah.
the high times, and then the decline, and everything goes bad. Look, Megan's got some stuff for us here. Do you want to read that in?
Oh, yeah, let me go down.
Yeah, move along with chat.
One last thing, Cape Trusty. Yes, Murder on the Orient Express. Depp is phenomenal in that movie. He plays kind of like a Lucky Luciano gangster in it, and he steals the movie. He had a great he had problems on that movie too for being late. He was on DEPP time, and Kenneth Branagh apparently had a real tete-a-tete with him. And they said, he's like, the quote goes something like, I don't care who you are. I don't care what list you're on. You do not come here late on my set. This is an ensemble cast. I don't care. And then Depp, fell right in line. It wasn't like Depp was going, no, I'll do whatever I want. He's like, yeah, my bad. But you know what he was going through at that time. And I'm sure it was impossible to keep up a schedule. But he's only in the movie for 15 minutes. Michael Mann is a genius filmmaker. He did a great interview with Bill. So I will watch that, Brendan. Michael Mann. Okay, back to Megan here. Okay, wait, where is it on? Just right here. I've been trying to comment under my Holly Pop account for ages.
Nobody blocked you though. They wouldn't lie. That's weird.
Megan, do you listen to Radio Gunk without Any doubt? Did she
Well, she
find
just
it?
says yes. Look, read the comment.
No, I'm saying like, did she listen to it before Depp? Like without, or did did the
that's a good
Deppening bring
question.
her to Radio Gunk? Is what I'm asking.
Well, she saw the forum.
Oh, she's on the forum too.
Read the comment.
Yeah, I heard on
What's
Radio
your
Gunk as
name on
well
the
as all the
forum?
insults on the. Oh my God, that's crazy.
What's your name on the forum?
Yeah, what's your name
Megan?
on the forum, Megan?
Because we got to talk to you. I want to know. I want to talk to her on
Yeah.
the phone.
I love the
I
passion.
want to talk to you, Megan.
You gotta love the passion. I mean, and she is well written and everything like that.
Don't force her to do something she doesn't want to do. If she doesn't want to do it, that's fine.
Oh, I want, but I don't demand her. I'm just saying I want. I love it that she's not a troll, because then it brings up so much more interesting stuff. Like, she wrote an aggressive, with an aggressive attitude, in the way she was trying to put John down.
I didn't think she was nasty. I didn't think she was nasty. I thought she was passionate. This is what happens, Tonecott, when Gunk and WINO forever expand into the southern hemisphere. We should have left it north of the equator. don't Brendan with a great callback here, Sarah. Don't tell me what it's like to make an acting decision. 5-minute episode where you watch Depps Polanski's movies with Megan. Well, Lauren Marie's got that sewed up, David, to watch The Ninth Gate. That's definitely, she's reserved that forever. Their chemistry is terrible in that movie. All right, Lauren. I watched it 2 weeks ago. Yeah, they really don't have great chemistry. It's hard to have bad chemistry with Depp, but she manages to do it. That's very true. Who has worse chemistry, her Jolie and Depp, or Charlize Theron and Depp? That's a good question.
I will say Megan too, and let's move on. But I want to say, I'm trying to relate this to what happened to me on in a comment section in the live chat. I was muted from a channel because I got mass reported for spamming by quite a few people in the live chat. So I don't know if your comment got reported for spam a few times, because they will mute you,
right?
So you can't spam, because you're not on my list. So I don't know.
Gerardo 77 Coronado, welcome, sir. It's good to have you every once in a while. You make an appearance. I see you in the comments, sir. Thank you for everything. So this next story here is very bizarre. I found this is one of my strange travels on the internet. I'm looking for, a lot of people know, I'm looking for Depp, and I'm looking for an NFL game that Depp appeared at. It was a Cardinals-Dolphins game from 2008 in September in Arizona. And I have so many NFL games that are I can't find this one. And it's from 2008, Dolphins, Cardinals, September. And Depp is at the game. It's on CBS. They show him and his caption under his name. He's in a booth. He's with his family. He's got Dolphins gear on. So I looked this up, and I'm trying to find this game. And I stumble onto this Reddit thread. And this Reddit thread, it's a Miami Dolphins Reddit page. So everybody has their own. And Sarah, the Blazers have one. So every sports franchise has their own Reddit.
Yeah, of course. So
I come onto this and I see this. This is from last. I clicked on this and I'm going through this, and I can't even process all the South Florida. So the title is Like an Idiot. I'm watching the Depp Heard drama, and I noticed Johnny Depp is a Dolphins fan. So he highlights the picture from the, where he has a Dolphin sticker from the Amber Heard TMZ video. Sarah, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
All right. So I'm going through it, and this guy writes here as I'm going through this, and I isolated this one comment. I'll go back to the thing before, because that's one of the majority of it is. Neil Rogers, if any of you youths remember, is an old departed AM talk show. The guy interviewed Depp once in the 80s, and he had stories galore about gorillas sleeping in cars near the beach and running the streets and all this punk behavior. Also, Depp played in the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and is close friends with writer Hunter S. Thompson. Hunter's also a huge Dolphins fan. Surprise, surprise. Biggest gambler during the early 70s. Absolutely true. Perfect season era. Hunter S. Thompson wrote a great article in Rolling Stone telling all the beauty of Paul Warfield, Larry Zonka, Jim Kick is Depp's favorite player, etc. All right before the perfect season when they went 17-0 from the Super Bowl in Los Angeles. He advised he bet the house on the Finns, who, believe it or not, was perhaps his own South Florida youth. So the page before this, I just isolated that. So as we see, this guy writes here, he circles the Dolphins insignia on the Amber Heard video, the famous TMZ thing, as I've told you a million times before too. You see this? You guys see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he circles the Dolphin sticker on this thing, and there's the thing. So I go through this too, and there's all these people are from his area. Holy shit, awesome. Suddenly his struggles seem more understandable. Dolphins fans can do crazy things to your psyche. Being a Dolphins fan can do crazy things to your psyche. Poor Johnny was getting punched in the gut years before he met Amber by these Dolphins. That explains a lot. So South Florida Grown writes, Miramar High School, in fact, he dropped out. I actually knew that. I spaced out when initially leaving the comment. He was a few years behind my dad in school, and from the sound of it, they very much hung in the same realms. I say we have his dad on, right? Is that so? Down a little more, this guy writes, I had his 3D art teacher when he transferred to Western High. He said Johnny never came to school. LOL. Some dentist writes, so your dad's
3D
hung.
art teacher.
Back then?
What
too?
the hell? I've never heard. Sarah, have you ever heard of that 3D art?
That might be
the only thing I can think of if they're doing pottery or sculptures, I don't know.
He lived by the best pizza spot in all of South Florida, Miramar Parkway, Antonio's Pizza. If anybody knows this stuff, you know. So underneath this, my mom was his immediate neighbor behind his house growing up. She said he used to play the Dolphins fight song over and over again until his mom would yell, Johnny, turn that damn song off. Is that a great story? Where do we get this from? This is the stuff I want to know.
Yeah,
I want to have his mom on to talk. Is that a guest? Right?
Are you commenting on this, John, under a pseudonym?
No, I haven't written back yet. I'm just
trying
to take it all
I'm
in.
Sure. Yeah.
I have access to the Neil archives, but they weren't labeled properly.
Right.
So I can't find the episode where this basically unknown actor came on for a few minutes to talk about his childhood. So I don't even know where to begin.
Johnny Depp is our finest Florida man. I hate men. Born and bred in Hollywood. Crazy thing, he could have played anyone and picks a snitching bitch out of all the people. This is an interesting thing. It's amazing. There's a Reddit for everything. Not that this is not. There's much more obscure stuff than Dolphins Reddit, but it's very interesting. Yeah, all these people seem to know the area. They're all like South Florida. So this guy Neil Rogers is apparently a pretty iconic local South Florida radio host, and I think he's kind of like the Steve Dahl of South Florida. And apparently he did an interview with Depp. I want to say it's during the Jump Street years. Maybe could it be before that? For Nightmare on Elm Street or something. So I don't know. This guy Neil Rogers, apparently his archives are out there, and I somehow have to sift through every effing minute to find something from the 80s. I got to get my hands on this interview. Anybody knows anything about Neil Rogers and the archives? I don't know how to. Again, I don't. Am I supposed to go through every show from the 80s?
I know,
I'm willing to do
that's
it.
the last show I really want to dig through for that Depp interview.
So as it goes on, Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow to be one of the most memorable movie characters ever. But the whole legal fiasco between him and his ex-wife Amber Heard cost him several famous projects. Although the fans are expecting the return of this iconic character in Depp, he won the trial, and it was Dwayne Johnson who then entered the picture. Exclusive report by Giant Freaking Robot stated that the ex-WWE wrestlers joined the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, officially replacing Johnny Depp. Has The Rock confirmed this on any level? If their words are to be believed, this franchise starring Dwayne Johnson will be the third spin-off planned by Bruckheimer and Company. Pirates franchise is a huge contribution to the career of Johnny Depp. The role skyrocketed his fame to a whole different level and made him a fan favorite in no time. But
it made him more family friendly as opposed to the quirky roles he was known for before. Some would argue this is a quirky role, but this is your average Disney movie.
Well, it made him a bankable star
Yes, I'll go
in
with that.
terms of box office wise, because
But without it, I think he would have been fine.
the highest grossing movie he had done before this, believe it or not, was Sleepy Hollow,
Hmm
which did just over 100 million in the States. I think it made 101 million, and
And
that was his.
that was
Yeah,
good. That guess was that the last good movie he did? Maybe.
you know, he's brilliant
Last.
as Ichabod Crane, and that Ichabod Crane's supposed to look like Howard, and the studio wouldn't allow that, so they gave it to Dan. He's brilliant. He plays like a Angela Lansbury, version of Ichabod Crane, and he's phenomenal in the movie. I think the movie's too short. Number one, I think they should have added a half hour to it. It should have been longer, and it should have came out on Halloween instead of Thanksgiving.
Can I
That
make an
was weird.
observation about The Rock? The very first
Yes.
movie he was in, Walking Tall, I went and saw in the theater. That movie is literally like an hour and 10 minutes.
It's a remake, right?
Yeah, it's a remake. But I'm watching it. It was decent, I guess.
It's only
but
70 minutes, Sarah, in the theater.
it's so short. I was
See,
shocked.
I hate when people complain about long movies
Mhm.
because why do you want something shorter if you enjoy it? You're paying a lot of money now to go to the theater. Why do you want something? If you want to just get out of there, don't go to the theater. I
It's
have
like,
a headphone
why did I just
jack.
pay for this? Why did I just pay $10 for this movie? I just
Right.
sat down and the credits are rolling.
Right. I agree. I like a nice. Give me 2 hours, or I'm not going.
Oh, I
Yeah.
I don't
love
like
2
anything under
hours. I'm
Yep.
happy with 2 hours, and if they push it to 3, like James Cameron likes doing, Jesus, that's kind of too much.
There's some Marvel
Really?
movies that were 3 hours, and I was fine with it. It went very fast. I felt I think time in general goes fast now. And what are you complaining about? You have phones and shit to play around with. I think that time goes By the way, if you were robbing cars, how many cars get hit at a movie theater when they know the movie starts? You know you have 3 hours to steal the car. Like, wouldn't you?
I know. I love that. It's a great scheme. Yeah.
I can't believe. Like, that's that thing on Facebook. Like, my sister one time was bragging about going on vacation, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, we're going away for 2 weeks. We're going away." I'm like, you just gave every burglar in Bellport license to fucking break into your house now for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's true. Didn't that scare you when you were a kid, when you went away for like
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks and you
Yes.
came home and you're like, hope the windows haven't been broken, hope something awful hasn't happened.
My grandparent, that happened. They came over to our house to visit. This is when I was a kid, of course. They went home. They lived in a horrible neighborhood. Like, literally a serial killer lived in the neighborhood down the street. But they came home and the kitchen window was broken out.
Oh no.
So, and they were poor people,
Yeah.
a single wide trailer.
No insurance.
Well, I don't know,
Yes.
but yeah, my dad had to go fix the window. They stole my grandfather's guns.
Oh my
It-
God.
Other things too, like my grandmother's, a few of her stuff, things from her childhood. And it was all for drugs.
Yep.
But
Ugh,
they
it is
called.
awful.
We ran over there. It was the creepiest feeling in the world, knowing somebody nasty had been in this home with ill intentions.
Yeah.
Doing this to
yes.
these good people.
Yep.
Oh my, it was horrible.
Is it always drugs that causes you to do
In that neighborhood, mostly, but yeah, in that
Yeah.
neighborhood, that it was running rampant at the time. This is like the late '90s.
Right. I mean, there's all sorts of security things. I don't know how anybody commits a crime now. There's just cameras everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
how stupid do you have to be? We were telling Lauren Marie about the ring.com thing that the videos where they show you all the weird shit that happens on, like, that stuff is so rampant now. How does anybody commit a crime? There's
Yeah.
cameras everywhere.
Yeah, and the thing too is, with my grandparents' health, my grandmother was basically deaf. And my grandfather had just had like a 5-way bypass, so he could have dropped dead at any time from another heart attack.
Right.
And if you knew anything about them in that neighborhood, and it was a neighbor who did it, you know
course,
what their
they know
health
that-
was.
Well, you have people, like, especially back in the day, they would drive around and look at the patterns of people, like when they go to
Oh,
work, when they're
yeah.
home, when the cars are not there. And so
Mhm.
once you know what that person's thing is, and who's watching. Maybe they have no friends in the neighborhood and no one's looking at their house. I mean,
Yeah.
you could easily prey on those people.
Mhm.
It's so easy to know someone's schedule and their cars are there when they're not there. And I'm surprised it doesn't happen more, actually.
Well, the side of their trailer where they busted the window, it was shaded by trees, so of course it was easy to do. I mean, we had to go in and clear all the trees out so it never happened again. We had to just, it was a horrible time, and over drugs, just so somebody could get high.
You see that show Animal Kingdom I'm talking about? There's a lot of that. There's a lot of
Yeah,
plotting and stealing and heists and shit
it's
like that.
garbage.
No, it's but it's a fun show because it shows you how the underbelly lives and how they think. They're always thinking, how do I rob this person and casing the joint? And it's really good. I really can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, that's might be why I'm so hateful of thieves. Unless you're feeding your family, which they're not, honestly. But if I catch you in my home stealing my things or destroying my things, you're not leaving alive.
Whoa,
And I will spend a few nights in jail while they investigate. But no,
you're fucking
thieves and creepers, I will not tolerate.
you're fucking intimidating.
I don't care. I mean,
No wonder why you led the January 6th committee.
I
It's
work
crazy.
hard for my stuff as my family does. If you think it's yours, no, you're not gonna steal again.
Oh, I somehow believe you. I don't know why, but I just do.
Those
It's
are
a
the two things I can't control. I won't be able to control myself. I'm warning any robbers who are thinking about coming in this place.
Try
Um,
breaking into G Canada's house, all that testicular providence they'll hit you with on the way out,
yeah, I have 2
right?
guns. That's the reminder.
As to quote Magneto from X-Men 1, you Homo sapiens and your guns.
And that's why I have 2 guns. Next time I'm violated, it's not gonna end for me. It will end for them.
Okay, let me finish this. But the legal drama with Aquaman actress finally found its closure and was eventually settled for Johnny Depp won the defamation trial. Although the actor clearly stated that he didn't want to return to the franchise anymore. So why don't you listen to him? The fans kept hoping on Disney to somehow bring him back. No, the idiot fans who don't want nuance and him to move on to a better script. The idiots want him to do a Pirate 6. Right, guys? Am I
Yeah, I
right?
don't Bond will be back in a minute, but yeah, I'll be perfectly happy if there's no more Pirates movies ever.
Give me Donnie Brasco 2. I want to
Yeah.
see Joe Pistone. I had that great idea, bragging, but where you flip, because Depp is Pacino's age now when he played lefty. So you have Depp play lefty. And Depp plays Donnie or something. The fans kept hoping on Disney to somehow bring him back. Jerry Bruckheimer was asked about Depp's comeback, and he cleverly replied, "Not at this point, but the future is yet to be decided." Oh, that's so what a really sticking his neck out there, Bruckheimer. What a controversial statement. The updated created heated debate on the internet regarding the return of Jack Sparrow, but Bruckheimer also made it clear that they are working on the other planned spin-offs. Spare me, guys. Spare me. Spare me. We're yet to receive any official update from either Dwayne Johnson, thank you, who's not confirmed it. Why would you print the story then? How can you get away with printing this? Or the makers regarding The Rock's inclusion in the saga, but it's sure to create an internet fire if the studio confirms. Then why even write the story? This is the 10th time I've heard this shit.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about it again until The Rock confirms it with me.
They want you to click as you did.
They did. They did their job.
You read the first paragraph and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, wait, it's not confirmed."
I just wanted to shoot it down. I
Yeah.
just wanted to shoot it down. Okay, back to Crazy Days and Nights. This is this crazy gossip site. Sarah, can you explain to everybody what exactly this is?
This
CDAM.
is this is a very popular website, and it remains popular, I believe. They have a lot of Howard and Beth stuff. He's always referred to as the A-list radio host. But he had a podcast back in the day. This is where I got this from, and yes, I paid for it. But we are doing a fair use review. This is going to. He did a long form podcast, like multiple parts on certain celebrities. This one is like a 3-part episode on Depp,
Yes.
and a lot of it is not true.
Focusing on some of it's true, some of it's not. And I'll tell you what is and what isn't. Some I may not be privy to. I mean, there was stuff last time like cheating on Winona Ryder with Traci Lords, cheating on his first wife with Sherilyn Fenn. A lot of cheating, that's the
That's his
with him
sin so far is cheating.
killing River Phoenix.
And then
Right?
getting Christian Slater and Johnny Depp mixed up with
Yes.
abusing Winona.
Yeah, he'll conflate people all the time if it helps his narrative.
Yeah.
If it,
I doubt he even knows she dated Christian Slater, and that's probably who she's referring to.
Sarah Y. wants to know. Who am I, Larry Zonka over here?
I totally don't get. I know you get that reference. I don't.
He's on the Depp Dolphin team from the early. They went undefeated. That was when fullbacks were fullbacks. He's like a mustachioed fullback.
This is what I know about the Dolphins. They had an undefeated season. Dan Marino and 2 concussions. That's what I know about the Dolphins.
It's not bad. That's not bad. Who am I? Tony Nathan over here. That's the benefit of the Depp's constant moving in his childhood, says Kyle. Yeah, that's exactly right. Would you like to constantly move, Sarah? Never get robbed?
No. I'll defend my home before I have to constantly move.
Please ask the Depp neighbors, says Josh Foster, if they would come on the show. Who knows? Maybe they. Josh, I think that's very reasonable of me. Very reasonable. I don't think it's ridiculous to ask him. It's just like 10 minutes of what was it like in fucking 70s South Florida and what were the death. I think we don't know anything about that. I don't think it's too much to ask. I don't think it's creepy. Tonecott, Dolphins are the only team in South Florida time. I wonder if there would have been a Heat, Marlins, Panthers. Yeah, Depp's wearing a Miami Heat hat in my picture here, Tonecott. Tonecott's right. Florida, for a very long time, Sarah, until the late 80s, only had the Buccaneers and the Dolphins as their pro sports teams. There was no Major League Baseball. The Miami Heat didn't get in there until 89. And so it was like kind of a college sports state for the most part. And you just had the Dolphins and the Buccaneers. So you don't have a lot of pro sports. Now you have the Devil Rays, the Marlins, the Heat, the Magic, the Florida Panthers. You have the fucking Jaguars along with the Dolphins and the Buccaneers, right? It's crazy how many new Florida pro sports franchises there are. Laces out, Depp. Very nice, Tonecott. The greatest supporting pro sport. I can never figure that out. That's right. Yeah, I just explained to G Canada. They do now, but they can be laissez-faire though. He's right. Batista, thank you, Pella. I don't know why I blanked on Batista's name. He's actually pretty good too. Dave, you know him, Sarah Batista?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's got a nice film career. Most actors would love to have his career.
He debuted in wrestling around the time I stopped watching, but yeah, I know who he is.
I was a very big wrestling fan, and I love anybody that comes out of that. Even though I've lost touch with it all, it doesn't mean I don't respect the whole
for their brain health. I agree. Before they turn into Chris Benoit, yes, get out and try acting.
It's some of the funniest shit ever comes out of wrestling. Some of that mic work in interviews and some of the athletic. It's so much fun. You just got to take it for what it is. Did you know that Sarah Patrice O'Neal was a writer for the WWF?
Did he write the Mae Young giving birth?
I don't know. I don't know. Did he?
That was the most disturbing thing.
The next time I'm on Opie's podcast is Radio Gunk, I'm going to ask him about Patrice O'Neal and the WWF. And Patrice O'Neal in general in his documentary.
I know.
And
I saw
calling that big fat black guy in Brazil.
I saw you on the Opie live stream, and I rushed to get on. By the time I finally got on, he was done. But I was going to ask him if so stupid. But I was going to ask him if that was a sunrise or the haze from the Philly crew ruining the show. If you know what I'm talking about, O&A old school O&A fans, yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Did he say that all the time?
He would reference that his in-laws, which
okay.
He would call the Philly crew because he's a douche. But that's my opinion, of course, not Arms. But he would say, yeah, the Philly crew, they're not really happy with what we're talking about. Like,
I mean, that's like an ongoing thing with the faithful that know that reference. I don't even know that reference.
Yeah, Philly crew. But you have to be like, I think you have to be like a longtime O&A listener.
Okay. Yeah, G Canada, I just get into this now. It's Tony Atlas was his partner. They had the champions. They beat the Samoans. And then fucking McMahon wrote them out, and they lost to, which is ridiculous. Because I think Johnson and Atlas could beat them both at the same time. Dick Murdoch and Adrian Adonis. That's who they lost the belts to. Pirates are to boats as Fast and Furious is to cars, says Pell. Same thing's regurgitated. Yeah, he's right. That's exactly right. But the Fast and Furious franchises, for some reason, make a ton of money. I don't see the Pirates movies making more money anymore. I think
Yeah.
it's just going to get
Or
less
a
and less.
fraction.
Diminishing returns, I guess, The Rock was reportedly offered several billion for the tequila brand. Oh, I didn't know. Tremana, and turned it down. I didn't know. Everyone's got a tequila now, right, Sarah? Even you.
Brendan Schaub has a tequila that tells
Oh,
you what
does
you
he
need to
really?
know. Yeah.
Eh,
You know what it's
God.
called? You know what it's called? Tiger Thick with 3 C's.
Tiger Hack. And now it's officially Jump the Shark, right? Making tequila if Brendan Schaub's
Yeah,
involved.
I'm done.
Watch Stampede. Not interested in the movie. Okay, Megan, thank you. Megan Foster says, I just feel it should have been Depp's choice whether he did another one or not.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe he did the 5th one though, Megan. It was a cash grab, as we found out from
Yeah,
the
that's
Tracy
exactly.
Jacobs stuff.
Had he just not invited the wife to join him?
Yeah, it was a disaster on every level. It was probably
By the way,
the
if
worst
anybody's
decision he ever made.
If anybody's interested, I was sent through the Deppening Gmail account photos of his finger that I don't think anybody else has seen during the healing process. It'll make you want to vomit. But if anybody wants to see him, I won't put him on the show here, but I'll send him to you. I don't know why you'd want to see him, but
Lauren Marie is a really good because this is how the world thinks now. And this is what we're going on social media numbers and everything. The Rock is in the top 5. She's absolutely right on Instagram accounts in the world with 360 plus million followers.
yeah,
I just read that the other
don't
day.
get it.
He's unbelievably popular worldwide. Yes, Lauren. And if just half those people see the movie, right? Isn't that a no-brainer in a way? Or put him in at the same time as Depp? Why not both of them? I would see that. Black Adam. He had a falling out with DC. They had a weird falling out, him and DC. I'm not sure where they stand. Black Adam, I enjoyed it. I know the character and I know what they were going for. It's not loved by everybody. He did a good job in it, is what you thought it was going to be. But there was some weirdness with him, and it's just never ends well. Tony Atlas, thank you. Okay. So here we go. Here is our Bon. Are you with us?
I think he'll be back in a minute.
Walking the dog.
But yeah, everybody.
To another the guy's house.
Go ahead, Sarah. I'm just trying to find the spot.
We're going to try to pep this up because he doesn't help his cause with keeping you interested. So.
As Rodney said, vocal fry, affected vocal fry, and I really tried to raise the volume. But there's a lot of crazy gossip. Don't let that deter you from sifting through to what the gossip is.
We have a question for you real quick from Wydat. Okay, Arm, tell me Depp's name in Platoon. Go.
Private learner.
There you go.
You know what his first name is? Why not? See if you can get that. It's a weird name. It's a cool first name.
Sherilyn, because he wrote it on his helmet.
No, it's not. And they don't say it in the movie, but you had to like watch the, it's kind of like IMDb nerd shit.
Just say his name first.
Gator.
Okay, nice job.
Gator learner, private Gator learner. He's the interpreter, Vietnamese. That's so bizarre. Like, wouldn't you love to watch him speak Vietnamese to Dustin Gwen on 21 Jump Street? Why do they never do that?
Do you think he retained any of that?
Yeah, I do. I think he's got Depp's got a pretty vast brain of retention. I do believe he knows it. If I ever spoke to him in real life, I'd make him reenact that scene, and I would be Berenger. That's one of the things I would do. I really would. I really would. Here is Crazy Days and Nights entertainment lawyer ENTY, who has an axe to grind with Depp like I've never heard. I mean, it makes Charlize Theron and Michael Madsen look like Doug Stanhope and fucking Ricky Lake.
River had done? No. Johnny knew because Johnny's the one who gave it to him.
Oh, such a lie. I forgot about that.
Do you know that what? Because Johnny was able to recover from that.
Okay, Sarah, let's set this up and then tell everybody what we're talking about.
Did the band member tell him exactly how much River had done? No. Johnny knew because Johnny's the one who gave it to him. Do you know that what? The way that he took the amount that was like 3 times the lethal amount for heroin. 3 times. And I think it's something like, I'm going to forget, 8 times.
That's called a speedball, right? So what is it again? It's heroin combined with G Canada. I know what it is.
Cocaine.
Cocaine, right? Are there speedball dealers, like someone who actually
Of course, I think
sells
so.
that
Yeah.
as a okay? Can you find that in Craigslist?
Yeah.
Times maybe the level of a lethal dose of coke. But let's just stick with the heroin. It was 3 times. And Johnny knew that River had been clean for about 6 weeks. River was making a movie. He had to be clean for that.
Thank you, G Canada.
In the toxicology report, I mean, basically he had a little bit of weed and some prescription cold medicine or something like, not a prescription, I think it might have been over the counter cold medicine. And then that's basically it. And then what he had been drinking, and then what killed him.
Oh, God.
That was it. He wasn't on drugs. Did he take drugs in his life? Yeah. But had he had to stop for the movie? Yeah.
No.
Was he going to stop again when we went back to finish the movie?
I just watched a week ago, before we did the first part, I just watched an interview with the director of that movie he was doing. I don't know the guy's name, I forgot. He was coming to the set every day on drugs.
You talk about sneakers?
Yes.
Okay, Robert Redford and
Well, whatever his
Dan
last
Aykroyd.
movie was.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd. Yeah, I think you talk about sneakers, right?
I don't know whatever his last movie was. It was some weird dark movie. I don't know. He had black hair.
Maybe it's not sneakers.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
But you know how I heard this? He was offered Gilbert Grape before Depp,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow turned it down, or didn't have. That was one, and there was another thing.
I know we turn young actors, in particular, into the greatest actors of all time once they die.
He's 23. Yeah,
I always thought he was overrated, and I'm very sorry for offending anybody.
I agree.
Okay, he was doing crap at the end because the drugs were ruining him.
Indiana Jones.
Well, I was crap.
He doesn't have.
If you ask some people, that was crap.
He does not have Depp's chameleon-like abilities. Give me a break.
The movie is called Dark Blood.
Okay. Did someone write that, or you knew it?
No, I looked it up.
Okay. And what year did it come out? 93 or something?
Whenever he died. Hold on.
While you do
90
that.
On the night. Oh, God. I don't know. Probably
Josh Foster goes, this is why you never put the stencils of the family members in the back window, because I mean that's so funny. And the SUV.
My mother does that, and I yell at her.
I never even thought of that. See, that's the thing. That's the thing this Animal Kingdom does is they plot shit out like that. It's creepy, right? They just every type of heist and that would lead to a heist and what the tips of when the people are out and how you steal and what it's just a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren says, I'm terrified of guns. I have a can of pepper spray in my kitchen cabinet.
When I'm on my walks, I don't take a gun, of course, when I go just for a walk, but I will take pepper spray and a rusty scalpel because if you stalk me like I've been stalked on walks, I will put the scalpel in your throat if you pull me into a bush.
Yeah, Megan Foster says her and Bon Jovi will say that guns is such a foreign thing, and anywhere outside of America, it's like, what are you doing? What is this gun stuff? I get it, Megan.
Well, maybe politicians should work on this crime problem we have instead of worrying about putting extra letters in certain organizations' names. I'd rather crime be addressed first than shooting hormones into children or hormone blockers. Thank you. That's all I'm going to say.
Chicks should have guns, especially if they live alone, says G Canada. What do you think about my idea, guys? Sarah laughs at this. I think it's real. I'm really proud of this. Sarah, I think we should get you an FBI windbreaker, right? And when you go on your walks, because it's so cold, you could use that. It would really help. You just strut around and gallivant and trundle around in an FBI. Who would fuck with you if you just walk around?
Do you think somebody psychotic who is stalking me through bushes is going to care about the jacket I'm wearing?
If they saw an FBI windbreaker,
think you're
nobody
a naive
would.
Moron if you think that.
Nobody would
and
come
you've never
near
been
you
stopped.
with an FBI windbreaker on. Do you know how terrifying that is? Sarah, I'm telling you, An FBI windbreaker would solve all your problems. You just
No,
casually wear it
actually, a
around.
weapon would. If you ever felt the fear and the terror I felt that morning, a windbreaker isn't good enough.
If I were
And
a
please don't
fucking,
tell me I'm wrong because you've never felt it. So
if
hush.
I were, I hate men. If I were a crazy stalker and I saw the
Okay,
last
well,
victim I would
you're
choose is someone
sane.
with. If they had an FBI windbreaker on, you think I would take the risk? Do you know how much shit you'd get into if you attacked an
Okay.
FBI agent with
They
a
all think
windbreaker on?
like you do because you all are on the same level mentally.
You don't think it would lessen the
Okay.
chances
All
at
right.
all?
Let's move on.
Oh, come on. I know I'm right. I know I'm right. You want me to
Okay.
try it out?
No, I don't. I don't care.
She was too young to remember they're illegal. Yes, Megan. I believe the Port Arthur massacre. J.I. Young. He should have stopped after the third movie. Exactly, J.I. Young.
Yeah.
And whored himself out with 4 out of 5 and wiped off the smeared mascara with the moose hunt. That was apparently the mascara is based on NFL players with eyeshadow on to keep the sun. I don't know if that's bullshit, but he said that in an interview. So back to Sedan Man.
Yeah. Was he really, really skinny because he had to be skinny in this movie? Yeah. So it didn't take long. It wasn't going to take much for him to die.
No mass shooting in 27 years.
You know, that's...
Okay, pause.
Johnny even has talked...
Was he really, really skinny? Yeah. Or is he saying that was the only River Phoenix problem, that he was just a skinny guy?
Yes.
Oh my God, he's a effing moron.
River Phoenix is regaled as this sacrosanct saint, can do no wrong, has no, and like, you think Depp has no accountability? You think people think Depp can do no wrong? This Sarah's right. Like, he's kind of an overrated actor. I mean, he made some shrewd decisions. He made some nice movies, but he's not some virtuoso. He was a nice young actor who died at 23. You don't know where's. By the way, he would be lucky to have his brother Joaquin's career.
Mm-hmm.
His brother Joaquin's got an amazing career, and I don't see him having Joaquin's career. What do you think about that?
Well, I think he was great in My Own Private Idaho and Stand By Me, which everybody says the same thing.
Keanu Reeves.
He's just not. It's the same thing. They did the same thing with Brandon Lee when he died.
Right.
Yeah, he was great in The Crow. Do I think he was the best actor ever? No.
He did it with James Dean, Sarah.
Exactly.
You think he's a great actor? He did 4 things. He's like kind of awkward and weird, obviously charismatic and stuff. But I mean, he's 24 when he died. You think he
Yeah.
was like some virtuoso? He got,
I think James Dean, had he lived a full life, he wouldn't. Of course, he would never be the legend he was turned into. His image was turned into, but he probably would have faded away. Maybe even in the 60s, his career would have been over.
Agreed, Hooper. Bobby the Brain Heenan, the funniest human being to ever walk the face of the earth. And Gorilla Monsoon ain't no slack either. The two of them together is the funniest comedy team, as Brendan gets right to it. To this day, nothing funnier. Couldn't agree more, Brendan. Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan's chemistry, comedic exchanges, nothing funnier on the face of the earth.
Oh, Pell, yes. Pell. I heard the Philly crew hated the Connor Peterson talk. That's a perfect example. Yes.
Who am I? Gus Van Zant over here. Who's Connor Peterson?
You know Lacey Peterson?
Barely. I know it's like one of those
Scott
murder
Peterson
stories.
killed his wife, an unborn child, and Jim Norton and and Anthony Cumia were doing their riffing about the case. And of course, you know, back in those days, you could say whatever you wanted, basically. And they were basically just making fun of the whole situation. And Opie's in-laws didn't like that.
Okay.
So they put a kibosh on the joking about the Lacey Peterson. Now, do I think it's funny? No, but you know, it's your show. Do what you want.
That's a bizarre. I didn't know that at all.
If I don't like it, I will turn the dial.
You broads and your fucking murder stories, though.
I love true crime.
Your murder stories.
I'm into the Murdaugh thing right now.
What's really quickly? What is that about now?
The Good Old Boy Network basically is on trial right now. South Carolina? Yeah, South Carolina. Nepotism lawyer, 3rd generation lawyer, stealing money from his clients and other victims. He's accused of killing his wife and son. And the state rested after doing a crappy job with the case, presenting the case, and now the defense is presenting starting today.
Canada and Australia have 2 mass shootings in 57 combined years.
Great.
It's phenomenal.
I don't blame guns
They
for
are
that.
to be what, you don't believe it?
I don't blame guns for that. I blame the lack of mental health care in this country.
A little of both. A little
It's
of both.
Contentious issue. My goodness, it really is, and it did get sorted out in Australia, but we've only got 25 million people in the whole country, and we don't have any gun culture.
You're right.
Here.
I agree
You
with
know,
you.
once we
And
sign
you
more
do,
gun
so-
laws, the guns in the hands of the criminals will evaporate, and we'll all be safe. So just vote for new gun laws.
How about none? How about no dealers? How about none? How about just eradicate them from everybody?
You mean guns?
I just don't know.
No, I want my guns because I follow the law.
What do you think it is here? We're just desperate. There's so many crimes, and the system. We have the highest in prison rate. Do you think it's just people doing desperate things because of money problems?
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think capitalism's so
I also think that we have
pervasive that it
raised.
causes people to do desperate things.
I also think that my generation has certainly helped raise a bunch of shitty children who are entitled. They're not doing it to feed their family, but they were never told no in their lives, so they just turned into scumbags.
I think you raised a pretty phenomenal cat named Camilla, who has some pretty
Okay.
good morals, right? A catstronaut. She couldn't be a catstronaut without those morals.
Oh,
Am I right?
it's so cute.
Have you seen her cat bunch? I'm not even a big animal person, really.
I've
And that
seen
is
it
a
in the picture. It's a
adorable
nice
cartoon cat.
I'm allergic to cats. So I
so
have
am
a
I,
dog. Oh, I know. It's I
That's why
don't.
I have to
Yeah,
take a
they're-
pill in the morning.
All animals are great, So
Of course, I love them more than people.
We had a great band in Australia who wrote a song called "Dogs Are the Best People."
Yeah,
It's a great
true.
song. It's like a grunge sort of band. You should play it on a Patreon episode, maybe just for the hell of it. It's
Bon,
just
I don't know.
fucking
You very Bonnie on the spot. I was thinking that last time you were on. There was a band. I got into this. This is one of these embarrassing. This is for Megan Foster too. This is how crazy I was. Like back when I first got on the internet, I started when I first had Napster. I was just downloading everything in sight, with the dial-up connection and everything.
Me
And so the
too.
first thing I do,
1998, yeah, or 97, yeah, sort of thing, yeah.
I found a song called Johnny Depp Day
Oh
by
boy.
some band that's no longer it's called Huffamoose.
Oh, okay.
Huffamous.
I'm gonna look it up.
And so I'm listening to this thing, and I thought it was bashing Depp. I'm like, because like there's a line in the song goes, "It must be Johnny Depp Day down on South Street." So it sounds like it's insulting him, and I'm livid. I'm going, "You motherfuckers!" I find the guy on, I think it was MySpace or something, and I just eviscerate him. I just eviscerate his band. I'm going after everything, and he writes me back. He goes, "Look, I appreciate, but we're really big fans of Depp's. It's a pro. The song is about a guy who looked like Johnny Depp in Philadelphia, and we would just see him every day. It's not about him. So we're not making fun of him. We're making fun of the guy who looked like him." I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh, I've got the lyrics. I'll read them out.
Okay.
Out. So it's Johnny Depp Day, and it's "Hey, good looking, what you smoking?"
Why you smoking, right?
Yep. Is it kind? Is it kind of? Do you believe in blind love? Stop, look, listen, pay attention. This is me, and this is meaning your clock. It needs some cleaning. You need help. Pleased to meet you. I am the second coming. I'll help keep things humming, and I'll deplete you. You're the one retracting with no respect for acting. It must be Johnny Depp Day here on South Street. You must be making someone all your own. Must be getting on that time to never be alone. Stop the shaking. Oh, my hearts are breaking. Are you cold or were you cold?
God damn, I know
You
all these
look
lyrics.
a little shell shocked. Hey, big city, such a pity. You're so alone, such a loner. Where's the soldier in the story? Take my hand. I'm pleased to meet you. I'm the second coming. Weird.
Now, reading the lyrics, do you see how I thought it was a bash on him? Why would I think it's about a homeless guy? There's nothing in there indicating, other than maybe he's hallucinating. But that clearly looks like you can't miss. I knew every lyric to the song. Like, there's no way that's not about him. But they said it kind of makes sense. It's about a guy some mental patient in the area who looked like him.
It's
So they say.
weird. I'm looking at the lyrics. It is very weird. I'm going to listen to the song later. but
Yeah, it's a good song actually.
I
We
love
should
it
use
that
it
you
as.
got on you got onto the MySpace and had a go at him.
I
This is
think
great.
that's how I found him. I got his email address somehow. I don't know. I might have gone on their website, and that's how I did it. I don't know if MySpace was around yet. I somehow got his email address, and I went and I like apologized. He's like, "Well, it's not about him. It's about this homeless guy in Philadelphia who looked like him." And all right, I'll give you a pass. I don't know if I even apologized to him. It was crazy. I wish I'd get a hold of that email if it was still around.
It must have been popular because I mean, there's a band doing a cover version of it on YouTube. They're actually covering that song. So
Hey,
people must
Pellel,
have
if you want to
liked
sit
it.
in with us when we do a Gilbert Grape thing on Patreon, you're more than welcome if you like it that much. That's for damn sure. Match in a gas tank. Boom, boom. Come on down, buddy. You know that line, Sarah?
I do, but it's just
Okay.
from seeing clips. I can't. I told you I can't watch that movie. So Pell might have to join you.
I know a boy, his name is Arnie. He's about to turn 18 and have a big party. Come on down, buddy. You know the water tower scene, right?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a tough movie, man. I mean, the dynamic with his I've heard from people insiders that say that Gilbert Grape is the closest thing to the real Depp in any movie he's ever played. That the actual kind of the way
Okay.
he acts, and if you look at the family dynamic, how different is that really than Depp's own family? Like, the father takes off. The mom is kind of crazy.
A
I mean, they're not
mess.
exactly the
Yeah.
same. He has two sisters just like they do, and a brother who you don't hear from, who got away. It's
Yeah,
the
I
same
I
exact
get you.
dynamic, right? Isn't that crazy? If you think honestly, if you know the Depp story, Gilbert Grape's family is 90% similar to his actual life, and they're saying that they think that he is Peter Hedges is the writer of the book, and Lasse Hallström, who directed Chocolat, did Gilbert Grape. Where were we? You looking something up? Oh no, okay. So so that Huffamoose song, we'll go over that. It's pretty good actually. I think they did a nice job on it. It's very for the time, like that alternative stuff that came out like in the late 90s and early 2000s. It's kind of like a hip alternative sound.
Talked about it.
Kind of like Cake, Bon?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's kind of groovy.
Yes.
Match in the gas tank. Boom, boom.
Where'd you get this son of a bitch? God, that's why you're so much 1,000 times better than Fred Norris will ever be on his best.
Talked about it. And he's never really explained why he dragged the body out there, knowing that he was going to die.
Oh.
That's why he did it.
He was on stage, you idiot.
And basically, if you think about it, the whole thing was just a warning to Winona. It was.
So now he's telling us they're broken up, and he's going to kill River Phoenix with a speedball while he's on stage. He drags him out, which never happened, and now Winona Ryder is supposed to see this, and the message goes, "You're going to also be killed.
You're next,
with a
bitch.
speedball. You're next, bitch, with a speedball at the Viper Room." Listen to this guy. He hates his gut. There's some going on with these two. We got to get to the bottom of this. This guy has got an axe to grind, fucking a Paul Bunyan level axe to grind with this. This guy, it's off the charts how much he hates Depp. I mean, you just hear it. You forget about even what he's saying. The passive aggressive intonation and the
Almost exactly at this time that they split. Almost exactly. Why would they do that exactly then? You know, he didn't. This is not the first time that he's done this, where he's introduced somebody to drugs, hard drugs.
Sarah, they're making all sorts of acronym jokes about FBI. Brendan writes full-blooded Italian. There's one called Full Body Inspector.
My dad had a shirt that said "Full Booby Inspector."
Does he still have it?
Probably.
Did he wear it in public?
Yeah. Back in
Is
those
he
days, you
really?
Oh
could.
my lord!
They would buy me. You remember those Johnson T-shirts?
Yeah.
The big. They would buy those for me when they would go traveling. So I would wear a T-shirt that said Big Johnson, and it would have cartoons of topless women.
Oh my lord!
I'm sorry, sir. You have the cool parents there.
I did for a bit, yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Didn't you tell us that your parents would go on vacation in the summer and leave you alone in middle school?
Yeah, for a couple weeks at a time.
Could you imagine that, Bon?
No, this. They knew she would never break a law. She
That's
was so
right.
good.
And did I? Never.
Yeah, and when they came home, the house was probably cleaner. You
Yeah, but I
probably
waited
trotted
until like
around.
the night before they got home to clean up my trash.
Oh well, that's naughty.
I know.
I love that though.
You didn't have a 24-year-old living with you?
No, not at all.
No.
Not at that point.
Yeah, well, didn't you think of bringing? Were you on your own at home?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What, didn't you think of having a boy over?
No, I didn't have any boyfriends at that time.
Bon is spot on. You're so trustworthy. Like, you're the only kid that would get that privilege.
You have to have a fear, not of being beat, but you have to have a fear and an intimidation, about your parents. You have to be intimidated by them to some degree to be a good kid. So I was always afraid my father would look at me, sideways, or would ignore me for 2 weeks like he did when I wrecked the car. Yeah, I mean, you have to have some fear to be raised properly.
There's two schools of thought for that. It's either your situation or the parents who just don't give a shit and don't care what their kid does and leaves them
See,
alone.
I had the best of both. Like my mother, when she, medicated herself, she was my friend. And then I had, but I also had the discipline.
Yeah, it's not like the other side of there's the parents who just don't care. The kids run amok.
Yeah.
It's impossible to balance it. It's so hard. It's a balancing sort of thing. It's very difficult. And
His arm muted.
That, as you said, how does this guy know so much about Depp and that Phoenix is off drugs? If he knows anything, Josh, and he probably knows here and there, and some of it's true and a lot of it's not, he has moles at the Viper Room, and Sal Jenko could be one of them, who has turned on Depp, and they are leaking shit to him. That's exactly what happened, I think. There's Viper Room people who are no longer in good stead with him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, River had used drugs before. Let's get the facts straight.
Yeah, please.
But he had been clean for 6 weeks, except for some weed.
That's not clean, technically.
And then here comes Johnny.
Oh my God.
David writes, River Phoenix has the Marilyn Monroe thing, where people are not mourning the great work they did while they were alive, more so the mourning at what they never became. Leave it to David to perfectly poetically write that out. So spot on. That's exactly right. There's a lot of those too. You can make a whole list of died too young, and then you're mourning what they could have become, but they probably weren't going to live up to that. It's almost like an athlete, like J.R. Richard in baseball or Len Bias, right? You don't know what he would have been. He would have been lucky to be Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good movie with Keanu Reeves, I Love You to Death, Kevin Kline story. I've seen the box for that, Tone Cod. I never saw it. I know what you're talking about, though.
Saying, try this, and giving him way too much. There was,
You and Lauren have a lot in common. So.
Do you remember when Heather Graham was dating Heath Ledger? It was, what were they filming?
Heather Graham is in what movie with him, Sarah?
From Hell?
Yes, ma'am. Good job.
I get that mixed up with Sleepy Hollow, and I shouldn't.
Yes, they came out within 2 years of each other, and they have the same dark detective thing.
Meanwhile,
of people do that.
The funniest thing about that movie, like, you have all the prostitutes back in those days who probably look like that generation's crack whore.
Yeah.
Probably missing teeth, busted up faces, and then you have Heather Graham saunter in.
Yeah.
Sarah, Howard said the
her
same
up.
thing to Depp during that interview. Howard said the exact same thing to Depp during that 2001 interview he did with him.
And I'm guessing Robin
Funny.
agreed.
Yeah, she did, of course.
Yeah.
I know. I was about to say that. Oh, nice job, Sarah. It's funny. I remember Depp got challenged by a journalist once about that, exactly what you just said, and he
Mhm.
got all offended, and he went, I read this in print. I didn't hear him say it, so he just goes, no. He goes, no. Fred Aberline in reality would fucking hate Ichabod Crane. They'd never hang out together. They're completely different people. Because they were saying like, oh, you just did that with Sleepy Hollow. Why are you doing it again? The formality. And he really was offended that people thought he was being redundant.
Hmm.
And he had to explain that Fred Aberline is completely different than Ichabod Crane. And I'd never seen it. I hadn't seen him pissed off like that. And then it was kind of, but again, it was in print. I didn't get to hear it. Sarah, Diane D. Welcome, Diane. Thank you for all your
Hi,
kind
Diane.
words too on Patreon. Sarah, I'm obsessed with all things Murdow.
Yep.
How do you say it?
Murdaugh.
Murdow. So many layers to the story. Maybe I'll check that out. And Monique's obsessed with it too. And the
Yeah.
weirdness
Ricada's covering
of
it.
this
You
house.
might like that.
What, like every day?
Yeah, he live streams it every day.
Is he like the source for it?
In my opinion, yes.
Okay.
But
So
warning, he looks at it from a defense lawyer's point of view.
okay.
And he's very hard on the prosecution. But I agree with him. They really didn't prove anything.
Cowlaw says that guy is certifiably crazy. I've been at a bar and people are dragged out someone overdosing. The outside of the bar doesn't get tossed by the police. Possible the bar gets shut down. Yeah, it would have been shut. Depp actually did close the bar, G Canada, for a week. I think for an homage to Phoenix on the sidewalk, and they had.
Well,
I don't know.
People will just say he paid someone off to stay open, long term.
Yeah, Pell. I don't know what Pell is. Megan Foster misinterpreting what we're doing here.
She says us playing this is excessively negative.
No, we're pushing back on how
I've explained what we do on this channel. If that's not, and I'm done. So if that's not good enough, I don't know what to say.
It's so salacious that it's fun to see how deep these gossip columnists will go. He's not a gossip. He's actually an entertainment lawyer who gets tips from people. And I believe Sal Janko and other Viper Room people perhaps provided him with this stuff.
Johnny was filming From Hell with Heather, and she introduced him to Heath Ledger. And at that time, Heath was not a big drug user.
Oh, God.
Some weed, some mushrooms, just kind of the whole, whatever the hippie index is, the little hipster index, that's basically what Heath was doing.
Thank you, Texo.
let this play for a bit.
I know, Texo. She puts the millennial insult to canon. I love Texo. Yeah, Megan, I'm not. Yeah, they're explaining that. I'm not trying to gang up on you. I'm trying to point how ridiculous this is. It's just a lot. Some of the gossip could be true, and that's interesting too. Just hang with us.
And then he meets Johnny Depp, and the next thing you know, he's using hard drugs. And then the next thing you know, he's dying in an Olsen twin bed.
Whoa.
Oh, God.
I think
he's got,
that
like, the biggest drug dealing network ever in Hollywood.
Johnny likes to, if he sees somebody out there that maybe has a little bit of trouble, or maybe he just likes people to party with him, so he introduces them to hard drugs. And then in River's case, maybe he was just trying to teach him a lesson. Trying to teach Winona a lesson. See what I can do to this guy that you think is cute. See what I can do to this guy that you think is a good actor. And even if you go with the other version of events, which don't make a lot of sense to me, he's still getting back at Winona by dragging the guy out to the sidewalk to die.
Wow.
And having the underage.
I'll say again, the real story goes, he was taken out there by that guy, Bob Forrest, and then passed out on the sidewalk.
Depp is on stage.
Depp's on stage with P at the time. Lauren Marie said she saw fucking Gibby Haynes once somewhere upstate. So it was a really weird time. She wrote that. I got to read that. Next time we go to the comments, I'll read that in full. But yeah, Gibby Haynes is the lead singer of P, who Flea is in it. And Frusciante gets accused of giving him River the speedball. Flea is in P, and so is Sal Janko. and they're supposedly on stage. And the story goes that River Phoenix is bitter and pissed off that he can't get on stage instead, so he took a speedball to somehow get over it, and that's
No,
what
but
killed
all
him.
he did was smoke weed.
And now he's just smoking. It's such a bizarre. I really need to get. I've heard 10 different variations of this story. It almost gives you a headache.
Well, I don't know if you've heard of this, but there was a defamation trial last spring with Johnny Depp, and I hear he won. I think he'd have a good one here.
As we said last week, how the hell this isn't defamation? This is far worse. This is a pretty big readership too, and I don't know
more
how many
people heard this than read that op-ed in the Washington Post.
This Crazy Days and Nights is a huge gossip site.
Yep.
And apparently he's printed all this shit over the years. There's people have collected all these and put them in one kind of thing. He's a whole Depp file on this. This is far more defaming than anything Amber Heard could do.
Well, also, this is another reason, one of many, I never believe blind items.
Some of them are right. I've seen them be right too.
What's the percentage? It's probably
I don't know. It's
single
a great
digits.
question. I don't know how we figure it out, but I don't know. That's a good question. That's a very good question. Let's go back to
His brother making the call to 911. Now, there's a lot of people that say that River died because of what he knew about the cult that he belonged to as a kid. Now, Children of God, I'm going to have a podcast on the Children of God.
Oh, good. I can't wait.
But whenever people say that River Phoenix died, then how come Joaquin didn't die? How come, said Rain, all the Phoenixes, they didn't die? They knew just as much as him.
So the cult of whatever in Oregon, I'm pretty sure, because he was born here in a cult.
Oh, that's right. You said that. Right.
Apparently, if the cult didn't kill him, then it was Johnny Depp. We're not responsible for our own choices in life. Johnny Depp is making our choices for us and killing us when the time is right.
Explain to everybody, Sarah, because you know a little more the Olsen twin connection here. We got Heath Ledger. So
Heath Ledger was living while he was filming the Batman movie. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the Batman movie, right?
Yeah, he's in Dark Knight too.
Yeah, he was staying in Olsen whoever's house, and the rumor was at the time that she had quite a few connections in terms of pills and maybe other things. So that's another reason why we speculated when Depp was seen coming out of her apartment that they weren't really dating. Maybe she was giving him something or providing him something. But she's been known to allegedly provide things for people, her celebrity friends in particular.
If I'm not mistaken, and I don't know if I'm seeing things or if I'm misremembering, there's a picture of him coming out of that place, right?
Yeah.
Actually shown online somewhere.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show.
Yeah, did we show it? Did we actually show the shot?
Yeah, you showed the picture.
Okay.
I think it's the picture right there that we're looking at. Of him coming out of her apartment. Isn't it?
No, because he was by himself.
It looks just like that.
He was coming out of like a stairwell by himself. And how does he even, I guess through, and he did the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which is Heath Ledger did a Terry Gilliam movie who directed Fear and Loathing.
Mm-hmm.
When Ledger passed away, Depp, Jude Law, and Colin Farrell did like a triple replacement for Ledger in vignettes. Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't know they knew each other, actually. I don't know.
Sarah,
they were never in anything together.
You're right there, Sarah. The picture on the right, that's one frame. There's all different shots. That's him leaving, apparently.
Okay.
Just
okay.
Google. There's all different ones of him walking out of the alley with a wall behind him.
It's bizarre that
so
he would
he
even
was
be
with
in the
her.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure he was. He was probably with everybody. But
G.
they're
Canada
all
says,
yeah.
Come on, Sarah, it's New York City. Anyone can get any drug they need. But celebrities will usually go through just one person that they trust, who will then, contact who they need to, and they'll be the middleman. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't do drugs.
Everybody can get any drug they need except for Arm, who doesn't know how to buy marijuana.
I don't know either.
Oh, look, I did a lot of drugs when I was younger. I went and met to dealers. Like my friend would call me and go get some weed or pills, and be going to the party at my friend's place, and I'd just turn up at the address he told me, and a guy would walk out and go, "Hey man, are you friends with?" And I'd go, "Yeah, yeah," and he'd shake my hand, and in the hand was the pills.
That's how that works.
And I turned and walked away. That's it. It was just like,
Bon, if you were in the drug enforcement
Constant.
agency, wouldn't you just hang out outside Depp's house and wait for his assistants to leave and
Yeah.
follow him?
I'd
If
have a
you-
task force, yeah, and just follow all of these certain celebrities for days and just see where they're
Yep.
like Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, see where they're going, and you could probably fucking
I
find
don't
out
know,
so much,
right?
so quickly. Like,
You've seen his Sweetser compound, right? With his like weird. David's been there. You could just park there and act like you're just taking a break, and just wait for his assistants when they leave, and just follow them every day. You'd be going to Pablo Escobar's right hand man. Without a doubt, you would find it if you were really serious about enforcing drug laws. Which I
The
hell
first time I go to get drugs, it will be an undercover cop, and I will do something or say something that will classify it as a trafficking charge. So I will go to prison for the rest of my life.
Yep. It's always the people who don't deserve it. It's just, I mean, the amount of drug dialogue during that Fairfax trial. If I'm the DEA, I'm like, what are we doing? What's going on over here? Huh? What are we enforcing exactly? I'd be like, okay, just hang out outside Sweetser, wait till the assistant leads, and see what happens. I mean, am I Donnie Brasco for saying that? How obvious is
You
that?
wish.
Right?
no,
I do wish.
I'll
I
give
do
you
wish.
a great example. Like, I lived, some people in my apartment building were dealers. They dealed weed, and you have to. The guy would leave and drive, like 10 times a night, dropping it off. So straight away. Like, he'd come down, drive off for 20 minutes, come home, and then half an hour later he'd come out, drop, and I knew straight away he's dealing.
Yep.
So if you're a cop and you want to,
that's all they do all day, Bon, is to
celebrities,
look for those
yeah.
clues. There's no way they wouldn't know. There's
It'd be
no way
so
they would
easy with these celebs like Depp or an Olsen. You just sit out the front house and a guy drives up, goes in for 5 minutes, and then walks back out. You're following that fucker.
Yep. Every time. And he just
he-
hours.
Did he have a 4 on his T-shirt, like the drug dealer in 90210 who was dealing Euphoria?
You really do know that show, huh?
I know. I tried not to put that in, but I had to.
So Euphoria was code for ecstasy because they weren't allowed
Yeah,
to use.
exactly.
Okay.
Oh.
The
And
dealer had a
apparently-
big
I
4.
see.
The dealer basically, they're at a rave, and pretty much the dealer's standing under a spotlight, so you can clearly see him on camera. But he's got a big 4 on his T-shirt. It's one of the greatest episodes ever.
What season is that?
Season 2. It's an Emily Valentine episode.
Okay, so they started
One of her last.
tackling topics in
Kind
this
of.
sort of
in
heavy
their
topics, I
version.
guess.
They're still in high school during this. They're in high school for 3 years, right?
They're
3
juniors
seasons.
again.
Okay, the juniors again. Second time. Tony Blundetto is a good reference. G Canada and Pell. You're right. Josh Foster goes, "Is this stuff legit? I would love to know who the source, which disgruntled Viper Room employee." There's a gentleman who was in our chat a few months ago, Josh Foster, named Richie Albertini. And he really has an axe to grind with Depp, and he wanted to come on our show. Maybe we'll have him on. I know Sarah's really looking forward to having him on. And we'll go into, apparently he's part of this as well.
It's fine.
He-
I just get that episode off. I don't have to
This
deal with
guy, man, he really spills, and he names names and everything. I mean, that'd be a very salacious show to have on. And just hear him out. I mean, obviously, he's going to go, "Well, you weren't there, and I'm there. I should know. I worked there." And I'm like, all right, let's tell us what you know. I mean, I'll ask you, we'll push back and stuff. Again, I wasn't there, but I'm going to have questions and follow-ups, and tell us what you know. We'll see if we believe it or not, right? I
The
mean, that's
Scam
his
Squad.
truth. The Scam Squad. Gibby Haynes, frontman. Yes, Fuji Vice.
So don't ever believe that one. That's not the way it goes. No, I'm not saying the Children of God sex cult's not good.
Thank
Then
you,
believe me,
David.
it's going to be a good podcast. But that theory about River doesn't work.
But yours does.
You got Johnny and you got the band member. Take your pick. It's one of them. Now, granted, what we have to remember in all of this is that River could have said no, and he didn't. But I think that even with him saying yes,
If this wasn't
Come
River
on.
Phoenix, if this was Corey Feldman, do you think we'd be making a bit like? Do you think it would get this kind of negativity back? It's like what David said. If he didn't have potential, right, it makes the crime less.
If it died after like Dream a Little Dream in the 80s, probably, but not now or anything.
Yeah.
With Kori, because he's just nuts. But back then, everyone loved him. Depends.
Yeah, David, we're not insecure about this. Thank you, Sarah. You're right. Baseless nature of the gossip. Come on, Sarah. Thank you, Diane D. Thank you so much. That's
Yes,
so
thank you.
generous of you. I wanted to stop. Thank
As
you
always.
for all your kind words, as always. Yes.
Maybe you don't even have to call it murder. You want to call it manslaughter, fine. You gave way too much to somebody. It's like a bartender serving somebody they know is drunk. Everybody knew that River hadn't been using in that little group.
Except for the director of the movie.
And that it had been a while. And that all he was eating basically was artichokes for 2 months. Just to try and have this look of this guy who was in the desert. You know, that's what the movie is.
This man is awful. Wow.
So, they knew.
The drugs, and the Marilyn Manson and the drugs.
And when Johnny,
Yeah, Manson's
and
house
knows,
too.
but he didn't even bother to
sit outside.
look back other than to screw around with her career. It's kind of like with the blind. No care in the world. There's other women. There's always women while you're with the woman. There's always be another one. There'll always be another one. There'll always be another one. And nothing's going to happen to me because I'm not going to be held accountable.
Accountable.
Even though I dragged this guy onto the sidewalk so the entire Sunset Strip could watch him die, I'm not going to be held accountable. Then after Winona, he went on quite the drunken, violent spree.
Sarah Tonecott wants to know if it's the same episode Steve
Yes.
Sanders. Okay.
I'd like
Oh.
to exchange an egg. That's Brenda.
I'll get a drop of that.
Did you hear?
I messed it up. Don't get a drop of that.
No, I'll get the real one. But
Okay,
I will
good.
add-
It's
I'll add that
Brenda.
one as
She
well.
says that. Exchange
Oh,
an egg with her speech impediment.
Oh, you're right, Megan. You're right. The obvious one is Amber Heard's leaking stuff to him. That's definitely true, without a doubt. But it's not just Amber Heard. She knows nothing about the Viper Room. That's coming from scorned Viper Room employees, and there's many of them. Just this, as great a guy as Depp is, it doesn't always end well, and everybody feels wrong. There's some bitter people out there that who just don't like him, believe it or not, for whatever reason, and they're out there, and there's no question these are ex-Viper Room employees leaking that stuff to him. It just doesn't. That guy Bob Forrest too doesn't seem to like him either, right, Sarah?
I didn't get that.
Dr. Drew's
I didn't get that.
sidekick. It seemed like it. What I read, there was definitely something anti-Depp.
I didn't sense that at all.
I did. See how many reports on Johnny line up with what he claimed at the trial. A young kid with all that stuff in his face. There's no way you can say no. That's right, Pello. I probably couldn't. This guy, I know. I don't know if I'd be able to resist it either. In that world, especially when you have all this free time and money and access on you. I'm no better than them. I don't know if I were in that. Just a kid actor, with no sense of reality, and that's what you're hanging with. I agree with you.
That no career would get through today.
Gus Van Sant, right?
Now, when he started up with Kate Moss, I mean, you had the internet, there. It was mostly, your message boards and things like that. But there was an internet.
Thank you, B.
There's no social media.
4810. I can be an introvert too, but
but there was an internet, and so things were out there a little bit more. And also the level to which he was doing things. And one of his downfalls is he did a lot of these things in New York. So the papers would pick that up. And then it would kind of spread and trickle. The tabloids would pretty much still leave him alone. I mean, it comes to a tipping point where even somebody like People says, we have to report on arrests. We can ignore some of them maybe, but some of them we have to kind of report on. Especially we look like idiots if we don't, and all the other tabloids do. So
Pellel, you're not wrong here. There's narcissists who blame other people for their lives when they get screwed up, no matter how nice Depp is or anyone else is. Yeah, I mean, I've said this about Depp throughout the whole thing. The Amber Heard stuff, he pursued her. He home wrecked his own home by going after her. The dude who worked with her in that horrible Karate Kid knockoff UFC movie said so. He was texting her. They were hanging out, and he's very pro Depp. And he said that while they were hanging out, filming that movie, what was it against her? Never Back Down?
Yeah.
Yeah, that he just was pursuing her the entire time while he was with Vanessa. So he home wrecked his own. He brought her in. He casted her in the stepping in for Bruce Robinson. So yeah, he needs to be accountable for his choices. Some bad script choices. He absolutely should take more accountability in many, many ways. He brought her into the fold. He pursued her more than she pursued him in a way. It just turned into that. But I mean, for Christ's sake, when she's coming at you talking about Allen Ginsberg and she's fucking 24, why doesn't the signal go off? Right? She's not David's the only one who should talk about Allen Ginsberg at 24.
They would do some reporting, but it wouldn't be like it is today. I mean,
Here's a big deal.
today,
I don't know.
if you saw, I mean, they would, Kate and Johnny would just get in fights everywhere, and I'll talk about some of them in a minute, but
there is a writer who exclusively covered Kate Moss and Depp in the 90s in New York. And he's kind of, I think he might be retired. I mean, he's covered like the New York gossip scene, like kind of like what AJ Benza did. And he knows everything they did. I think we should try to have him on and talk about those years. And maybe he could refute some of the stuff. He's I can't remember the guy's name. He's a gay black guy, Lamar Cottrell from Revenge of the Nerds. And he was he was the darling couple subject for him to harp on in those years when they were the sort of dark shadows prom king and queen of Hollywood.
these were all basically just swept under the rug and just said, boys will be boys kind of thing. In 1989, he was arrested for assaulting a hotel security guard in Canada.
I want to know more about that.
After the guy asked a wasted Johnny and his friends to leave. It's public knowledge. But what's not public knowledge is that at around that same time, he hit an actress who was talked out of calling the police or suing by giving the lead role to her. And that came out of nowhere.
Diane D. writes here, I was always a Sedan avid reader and listener. I'm a reader. I'm not a music listener. And had to stop. This guy always takes the side of the woman, regardless of what the truth really is, every fucking time. He was very anti-Depp during the trial and very critical of Elon. All right, Diane, you can totally hear it here. You're spot on. You are spot on.
Except to those in the know of what happened. People are like, this actor's got a lead role? Where'd that come from? That's quite the leap up. You all the way back to this 1989 arrest in Canada, 30 years ago, you give Johnny Depp some alcohol, chances are good he's going to get violent. Especially if he is confronted by any kind of authority, he's going to get violent. His just, that's his go-to. He's just a mean and angry drunk. He's the Shia LaBeouf of his generation. And there's, one in this generation. He is just an angry guy when he gets drunk. In 1994, he was arrested for criminal mischief. Why? Because he got drunk. And he trashed his hotel room and Kate Moss. He paid $10,000 in damages to the hotel plus other fees. He had a really long reservation. Like a really, really, really long reservation. People don't talk about this. And he had to pay the entire reservation and not get to stay there.
He had that in his pocket.
Everybody
I didn't realize that, though. The $10,000 was a weird number at the time. Even I remember going, well, that's a lot. I mean, what's going on? So I guess he did have like a reservation. He was sitting next to, was it, God damn it, who from The Who was he next to again? Oh, God, who was it?
Roger Daltrey.
It was Daltrey. It was Daltrey. It was Daltrey. He was apparently had a. He called security on him.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Kate Moss fight, the hotel arrest at the Mark Hotel. He was in New York promoting Ed Wood, and this stuff before it was 21 Jump Street years, 1989. And I remember being, going back then. You couldn't really research like these stories. You'd hear about them, and it would come and go, and there was no way to circle back to it. And the Jump Street stuff, I always wanted to know more about. Maybe we could find someone who on the Jump Street set that knows more about it. There was a quick video that Entertainment Tonight had, and it showed him walking out of a Vancouver courthouse during this whole thing, and I'd never seen it before. This is like a couple months ago, and I can't find it. When we were doing a show, I spent like 5 hours trying to find this video, and it just vanished. I couldn't. It's one of those things you see it once, it's gone, and if you don't get it, it's gone. I can't find it anymore. And it was just footage of him actually in '89 walking out of a hotel. I'm not hotel, courtroom. Like they'd settled or something, and his lawyers with him, and they're running out, and this is from '89, and it's in Vancouver, and I gotta find that again. Megan Foster goes, don't you think if they had an affair, Amber Heard would have been screaming it from the rooftops? No, she wouldn't have been.
No, Vanessa.
No, Vanessa wouldn't be screaming anything from. She's never screamed anything from the rooftops. She means Amber Heard would be bragging about it in this. What better way to damage his reputation than tell the world he was cheating on the mother?
Oh, okay, I read it wrong.
That's okay. No, because
she
Amber
was
Heard
also wooing him.
Yeah,
she didn't want to risk that.
That's right. In the beginning, you're not gonna. The last thing he wants is you broadcasting. She's gonna keep a low
that's
profile.
your opinion.
No, it's fine. She could think that, but he cheated on Vanessa. There's not a doubt in my mind. He cheated on Amber with Rochelle Hathaway, and probably deservedly so, but that's fine. As many great virtues as Depp has, fidelity may not be one of them. He's got too many options. In many instances, a guy is only as faithful as his option. And boy, does he have more options than a PS5.
It just says, he just had to pay the $10,000.
What's that?
Let's get through a nice chunk of this.
$10,000 in damages. And, he was charged with criminal mischief. But, that's not why the whole thing got started.
Sylvia Plath.
Kate was, she could give it out too, but, she was tiny then.
Was she not?
They would stop traffic. Kate and Johnny would stop traffic in the middle of the streets with their fights. They would fight literally anywhere, especially if they'd been drinking. So if they went day drinking for lunch, on the way home, walking, usually, they would just start screaming and yelling at each other in the street. Now, like I said, there was an internet, but there was no social media. Think about what would happen now. 25 people would have their phones out in a second, and it would be all over Instagram and Twitter in a minute after that. People would be doing it live, Facebook Live. Instead, they got away with it because nobody could hold them to account. Nobody was broadcasting and nobody was showing it like they would now. So that kind of bad behavior, when nothing happens to you and you're not held to account for it, then you just continue to do it. Not to mention the fact that, they're both addicts and they both have bad tempers. No one wanted to go out with them at all. Because it would go from like this lovey-dovey thing that you see in abusive relationships where it's just like they're all over each other. And then Johnny would start verbally abusing her, and then they would start trading shots. And then the next thing you know, it's like full-on screaming.
Hey, ENTY, I hate to break it to you. Couples don't get along 24/7. They have fights all the time. I can't think of a relationship I've ever been in that didn't have some semblance of screaming matches.
Well,
it proves you care.
The Prince of Camelot, JFK Jr., was famously filmed having a verbal argument with his wife.
Right.
Before they died. So I guess he killed River Phoenix. I don't, whatever.
Why is the divorce rate like 65%? Because people don't get along. Because men and women don't get along. They're not meant to get along a lot of times. You have ups and downs, and that's how you get through it. You prove you love someone because you care and you do argue. Bob, do you know any couple who gets along all day long? What is he talking about?
No.
It's the first time I've ever heard of Depp having bitch slap fights with Kate Moss in the streets.
Yeah.
David goes, is River Phoenix a Shia LaBeouf? Yeah, it's true. River Phoenix is much more like Shia LaBeouf than Depp is. It's like very similar. That's a pretty good. That's really good. This is just so crazy.
And they're in a restaurant, and they're with friends, and it doesn't matter. They'll do it everywhere. No one ever wanted to have that experience twice. Nobody wanted that. Would you want that? And the thing is, some of the time, it would make the news, but not enough. Not enough to really do anything. There's also the arrest. He had an arrest in Arizona for
speeding. Before he says it, I think that's what it is.
No, he's probably beating a woman while he was speeding.
Arizona Dream is the movie, I believe, and that's the only reason he would have been. Well, Doug Stanhope lives in Brisbane, but he didn't know Stanhope then. Short Round Tone Cot. I have a Vietnamese nephew, and his nickname was Short Round when he was a kid.
I'm going to guess where he's going with this. It's either he was speeding because he had just left beating a woman, or he got wordy with the cop, which shows disrespect to people in general.
Without a doubt. But again, I mean, this is Donnie Brasco. He should be wordy with the guy. His accomplishments in law enforcement. Why can't Donnie Brasco yell at a cop? He's earned it. Tom Hansen. That's what we're dealing with here. He could talk to a cop however he feels like.
Going like 100 or something like that. And
I've done 100.
The cops took him in for reckless endangerment.
I'm going to defend Depp's drinking and driving here, both. So hopefully both. I have driven 100 miles an hour in Mississippi in a rented minivan when we were on our way to New Orleans, and we were switching off. We were on a road trip to go to Jazz Fest. So it was my turn to drive. I look down at the speedometer. My friend screams at me. He goes, "You're driving 105." I'm like, "Doesn't seem like it, does it?" He's like, "Slow the fuck down." It really doesn't seem.
Why are you in a hurry to get to Jazz Fest?
No, because I'm defending Depp. When you're on these open roads in these southern states, there's nothing around. You have no idea how fast you're going. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem like it because there's nobody around. You just start stepping on it.
I know.
And you're not even looking at the speedometer.
You feel lawless. There's nothing.
It does feel lawless. You're lucky I didn't go 120.
Around you, so you can't hurt anyone.
That's
the
right.
only person you can hurt yourself. So
that's a great point, Bond. There's not even cars on the road, so you're not even really risking anything. I didn't see a car for like 45 minutes. I didn't see another car. Go ahead, Sarah. I'm sorry.
Do you know how many speeding tickets run through my hands on a daily basis for people driving over 100 miles an hour? Those people killed River Phoenix.
Yeah.
Oh.
Easily. And the drinking is not his. We've already established he's a heavyweight. Drinking is not. Stop lumping drinking in with hard drugs. It's the drugs that make him do that. Drinking, he could drink bottles and bottles of tequila and wine after. The alcohol's not the problem. It's the drugs. Don't conflate the two. It's the drugs. It's not the alcohol. It's never the alcohol.
I absolutely agree.
Thank you, Bob.
He wasn't drinking at that, so I mean, it didn't really go with the theme. And he was probably out in the middle of nowhere, Arizona, and wanted to go really, really fast.
Overrated ugly dog. Texan, I agree.
So I didn't really include that one until now, but I don't think that that's really part of the pattern. I think that he was just in a Porsche and wanted to go really, really fast. But he's lucky to not be in jail right now.
Say that for David.
Thanks, Josh.
And I'm not really in this part one. I'm not going into the Amber stuff. We'll save that for part two.
We're not even part two yet.
But Johnny did lie, at least, okay, according to his former management team, he lied to the police about some domestic violence incidents. Basically, it all came to light during the Amber Heard beatings and his lawsuit against his former managers. But basically, if you read the court documents, they imply that he lied to the police. And then they also seem to indicate that he didn't really care what had happened domestic violence-wise because he knew Vanessa, who was the subject, I guess, of this probe, would cover for him no matter what. He did to her. No remorse in him at all. And that's what the management people were saying in the suit, that he just doesn't care.
So now he beat Vanessa?
Again, I think it goes back to the fact that he's a jerk, that nobody's ever held him accountable. And he has always thought of himself as above it all, and
yeah, I
nobody
totally
can
got that
touch
from
him.
his testimony. Quite the ego on him.
A lot of people like to give Depp an ego that he doesn't have. He is above it all. He gives off an air of like insouciance, as that writer says, Stephen Roderick said, because he is so avant-garde thinking. You think he doesn't care, or you misconstrue the mentality, but he does. There's, I mean, if he couldn't act that way, the way he treats civilians, if you had any sense of arrogance like you did. You have an elitist thing. You would never be around plebeians. You wouldn't be able to pull that off in any way, shape, or form. Vanessa, she sort of knew the deal as far as like yes, they were never married, but it was like they're together for 14 years, and he met her at the Roman Polanski Ninth Gate thing, and actually they knew each other at the Viper Room before that. He met her way before that, in the early days of the Viper Room, when she was dating. When she was married to, Lenny Kravitz, or were they just?
I think they just dated.
Dated, okay.
I think he's only been married once.
Kravitz?
Yes.
Didn't care what she had to put up with to get his pillow, writes Megan Foster. The only thing I can think of is she was advised by counsel, since it could be ruin her credibility to by knowing to cheat with a married guy and his kids. Yeah, that's exactly what she was advised with. I mean, Vanessa, they grew apart. I mean, it just happens. He just, in France, marriage isn't a big deal, so they never consummated it. But again, I say this about
consummated it.
What?
They consummated. They had two kids.
They didn't. Yeah. I meant the ring and all the stuff, and the piece of paper, as Depp puts it. The kids. I always hear about the trial thing. Oh, the kids. He's doing this for the kids. The kids, and this goes for any super fan of his. If the kids know the truth, if the kids know their real dad, why does the kids, and if you're a real fan of his, why do you need a jury of 7 strangers telling you what the truth is? Why does the verdict of this trial mean anything to anybody? If you
it was just to get it out to Middle America.
Yeah, I guess so. But why are you worried about Middle America?
Talked about this numerous times.
No, but why? I'm talking about the kids too. The kids don't need the jury telling them, because Depp himself goes, "I'm doing this for my kids. I want my kids to." Why? Your kids know the truth.
Referring to his son being tortured.
He was 20 years old. Not tortured anymore. He's 20. He's not in school.
Okay. All right.
So my point is,
please. We're not even on part 2.
Here's another $25 million to do this movie, and another $25 million to do this movie, and I'm just the greatest actor, and blah blah blah. But
and blah blah blah.
The thing is that he's not. But he has. He knew that Vanessa would never say anything, so he could lie with impunity, because the only person who's going to check him on that wouldn't be the subject, who is going to just go ahead with whatever he says. Now,
Sarah, what was the payout to Vanessa?
I don't know.
Supposedly? I heard it was $14 million in the house.
Maybe he bought her house.
I don't know if it was confirmed, but I thought I had read he gave her $14 million at the breakup, and the house and everything. Just kind of.
There's photos of the house online.
Not get out of my hair kind of money, but it was just like the kids, and I realize I'm kind of in the wrong here, and
you're moving out of Sweetser. This is where you're moving.
Right.
Why? Was it, to protect Fortune? Was it protect the kids? And she came out with that whole statement where she said that, that he had never been abusive to her or anything like that.
Depp will talk Vietnamese to my nephew, yes.
In 1999, Johnny was arrested for threatening a paparazzi. He's not a nice guy. And like I said, at the beginning of the site, people would
He's not a nice guy.
Just love and adore him. But all of these things that I'm reading happen it predates that by a lot. But what happens is when you get like a certain role,
That's right, Pellel. And I was in a minivan and I drove 105 miles an hour. It might have been more than that in Mississippi. And my friend told me like you can get thrown in jail for like a in like a place like Mississippi. It's like Boss Hogg and Roscoe Pico train. They just like make their own laws. Like if you speed in a hick town like that, you can actually go to jail. And I didn't even realize that. But I was in a minivan for Christ's sake.
Like a Pirates of the Caribbean, then people just kind of forget all that other stuff. They just concentrate on what's the here and now, and they forget all the other stuff. And until the Amber thing came up,
and the Marilyn Manson,
they kind of just let it slide by. About the time of the arrest,
shaming me for not driving fast.
Guy on the set of a movie, he had too much to drink during a late night shoot. It was like an all night kind of shoot, like a fratter day, and he made some moves on an actress, and she agreed to go back to his trailer with him, a fairly low-level actress. And it was there, I guess, he began to get rough, and he was like, just kind of really getting handsy and pushy and everything, and what could have been a nicer situation, even though he was with Vanessa when all this was going on, and she wanted out.
I want you guys to track this movie. See if we can figure out what set we're talking. If there's a set that exists, if this any shred of truth to this, let's see if we can track. If anybody in the chat has any ideas. So he's with Vanessa. That starts around 99, 98, and then it's gonna have to be in between Amber. So we'll go somewhere in about 10 years from 99 to about 2010. So something he did in there. It could be Pirates. It could be Public Enemies, it could be Finding Neverland, something like that. Could be fucking could be fucking Sweeney Todd, something like that.
The actress wanted out. But he blocked the door, and then she just started screaming, like loud screaming. And that was all it took. He let her by. But everybody had heard the screams that was nearby.
And nobody went to the tabloids.
But again, the producers kept it quiet. Can't have anything happen in our movie. Can't, have something, bring this up. So they covered it up. And in that time period, 1999, 2000-ish, I can say exactly what movie it was. Again, it was pretty easy.
He said 96 there?
99, 2000.
Okay, that's either Sleepy Hollow, Ninth Gate, Astronaut's Wife. Astronaut's Wife. That's Charlie's Throne. That's got to be.
It's a low-level actress.
Low-level actress.
Yes. You're not hearing it because you're talking.
No, I'm reading the comments here. Insouciance Pellel is means like you don't give a shit. It's like I don't care. I'm not bothered by this. I'm bothered by nothing. I'm insouciant. Like the writer said, a boyish insouciance.
Easy to hide these things. There wasn't a lot out there on the landscape. You might get a little blurb somewhere or a little blind item, but it was, you got a dozen people maybe or heard it, and it's pretty easy to keep those dozen people quiet. Hey, you want to work on a movie I got coming up? Just let's keep it here. Let's keep it on set. Let's not do that.
Oh, this man.
He was at the same time. So was he with Vanessa? See, here's the thing. Is around that time period.
Good Jefferson's reference.
He's still with Kate, but he's cheating on Kate with Vanessa. So there's kind of like this overlap. Again, he would just go from one relationship to the next. Yeah, but he destroyed Kate because he didn't tell Kate any of that.
That timeline doesn't match up. So Kate Moss, they're on the outs by the time 97 comes around. He's not with Vanessa yet for another year, at least a year. He doesn't cheat. He's actually single for a year in 97, and that's the Ellen Barkin tryst on Fear and Loathing. So that doesn't really track. I don't think there's any overlap with Kate Moss and Vanessa.
This guy's just speculating, and so seriously, it's so bad. He's not he doesn't know what he's talking, if it's true or not.
At the same time, he does get some things right, so it fools you into thinking, he knows some stuff. He knows some career stuff, which a lot of people aren't, like obscure stuff.
I'm going to say something real quick. Megan, calm down. Nobody is saying it. He raped someone or got rough. We're wondering what movie this guy's talking about.
It could be, these are the choices: Sleepy Hollow, Ninth Gate, Astronaut's Wife, Blow, something else, The Man Who Cried. And those are the things that came out in those years. Those are the things that came out. And so if it's a low-level actress, we could be thinking of who knows.
Well, by you saying that means you think he's a rapist. So I'm just letting you know. By
me saying what?
Let's track this. That means that we think it's true.
I want to know. I mean,
I'm done even addressing that.
Megan, you crazy
chatter.
You crazy Aussie.
Insouciant radio.
That he was hooking up with Vanessa, and I think that she just saw it in a tabloid or something like that Johnny had moved on, and he hadn't really told her.
Vocal fry.
And so she was crushed. I mean, she has reported that she spent like a year crying. And to me, that just screams abusive relationship. The fact that she was willing to put up with all of this stuff and then was devastated for a year or so because he had left her and cheated on her. She should have probably been grateful to get that out of her life. Instead, she went and got with Pete Doherty. Good God. Talk about somebody who made some bad boyfriend decisions.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Kay Moss is right up at the top of that list. You go from and you go from Johnny Depp to Pete Doherty?
Oh, yeah.
I guess it was a way to keep the drugs going. The little drug party and everything like that.
The Marilyn Manson and the drugs and the drugs and the drugs.
And all those drugs almost cost her career.
How about Winona Ryder going from Depp to Dave Pirner in Soul Asylum? How about that move? How about dating right off the color of Rolling Stone like Winona did?
These people are all messed up.
They're going, is chronicative white knight syndrome. That's pretty good, Tex. That is exactly what that is. Very monotone. Rodney said vocal fry, right? He's got male only like a white knighting, like kind of over the top feminist would have male vocal fry, which is kind of tough to do.
And that
sounds like
does if Sarah and John, if you'd like
Jimmy
for
Fallon,
future episodes, I could speed this. I'll edit him a bit, and I'll just send you back the MP3s. If you just link me to ones you're gonna do in future episodes, I could.
You want me to show? You want me to give you this whole thing?
Yeah, he's really ponderous. Like I'll just cut out a lot of his and.
There's some funny, there's some like weird.
I won't take out what his content, but I'll just get it to move a bit faster because while this is playing, I'm just constantly yawning with my silently because he just makes me feel
I think it's
weird.
The dramatic Shatner pauses though I kind of like because it gives us a chance to
But he's
comment
so
on
negative. That's the problem. You can't enjoy. It's hard to enjoy him because he's like he's the Scrooge of the earth.
Tonecock goes, it's very Scroogey. You're right. Tonecock goes, the movie was Blow and the actress is Paul Rubens. Derek
good.
For real. Derek fucking for real.
Oh, that was good. We needed that right now.
They did cost her millions of dollars, but they were just a couple at that time when she was the whole heroin chic, and that's kind of when that came into fashion and into vogue. And then you had Johnny, and I think that was probably, I'm not looking at his IMDb right now, but Crybaby kind of days. We're talking 93, 95 kind of thing. It was right after Edward Scissorhands. So, I mean, they're a pretty popular couple. They're, they're both doing things. So it should have made, and even though they were at this A-list kind of level, all the things that happened, it barely, a couple of times, when he trashed the hotel room, that made news. But there's so many other times when they had all this behavior that nobody even really knew. Or when they would trash other hotel rooms or do something else. And they were A-list. So you can imagine like a B-lister at that time, easily slipping under the radar and never getting caught. Because it just probably wasn't deemed worthy enough. Now, tomorrow in part 2, we go from, this 1999, 2000 kind of thing. We're going to go all the way to the present. And the Amber Heard thing will be in there. The Marilyn Manson, the drinking, the drugs.
I look forward to the Amber Heard stuff, knowing what we know now.
The rumor,
out in trial.
the people that
just shooting
protect his
everything
back.
down that he says.
And then, of course, as I promised at the very beginning, we have one more murder. And this one,
oh my Lord,
I don't think you'll have any doubt that he knows a lot about.
Anthony Fox.
Anthony Fox, who it's been determined is probably just disappeared because he was in so much crap with the mob.
It's a fascinating story. Hopefully, I can't remember, because it's been a while since I listened to this. So I'm with you. I can't wait to visit this again, knowing what we know now. I think that's going to hurt husbands unite, vindicate Amber, G Canada. Anyway, so that's it for us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Megan Foster, for having the cojones to drop in and say hello. I remember that Cannes Film Festival, the crossover with Depp's been to the Cannes Film Festival. Well, he's lived in France.
My Cannes Film Festival, if you want.
Did you? We'll play part 2. I'm gonna play Huffamoose next week too. That's the song I'm talking about.
I want to, before you end it and before I jump off, I want to thank everybody for the donations and the very nice email I got during the show, which I've already responded to. I'll share that with Arm after the show.
Oh, why couldn't you read it now?
I don't know that you want me to.
Why is it anti-me?
No, not at all.
So what?
I'm not. You'll know why I'm not when you read it.
Okay.
Can you read it to me as well after?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you,
as
Bon.
always.
Love yous.
Oh, Texaho's got a hold on this. She said Texaho believes Depp actually is the one who held down Corey Haim while Charlie Sheen raped him.
Oh,
Depp
threw the can of Crisco to Charlie Sheen, who caught it with one hand while he was using the other hand on something.
And Depp also helped guide the planes into the World Trade Center on 9/11. Depp sabotaged the train tracks in Ohio. Yes, I heard that too, Texaho. He's a
I like that he has it as little Corey Haim.
Little Corey.
Well, it's like Lucas Corey Haim, so that makes Charlie Sheen even more vile.
Winona's in Lucas, by the way.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? It always comes full circle. We love you too, Crazy Robin. Thank you for everything. The French culture is so eloquent. They pronounce con as can. Oh, it's can, right? Is it con or
both? You can say both.
You can say both. Thank you, PCBPO23. Thank you, sir. Good night to you as well, sir. Johnny Depp's
Creative name.
That's it is very. I want to know what the acronym stands for.
PCB PO.
Full body inspector.
Leave us a comment after and tell us what that means. PCB PO 23.
23 is Michael Jordan. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
So this is Arm for Marianne from Melbourne.
Yeah.
And Sarah saying, no time is a good time for goodbye. Match in the gas tank. Boom, boom.
Moo! 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 I'm a loser! Eh?
Sit down. Stay where you are. For the first time, I choose to walk out on you.
21 Jump.